Hello. Start. Dignitaries on the dais, of the dais, and all the participants, a very good evening to all of you. So before starting the session, I request all of you to please rise for the ICI motto, and who has joined us virtually, I request all of them, please your hand on your heart for the ICI motto.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यति कश्चन एतद्द्वैता 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 एतद्द्वैता.
Thank you. Friends, WRC is doing a work for members and students at large with the theme. This year we have kept as a theme LEAD, and LEAD is not just an abbreviation of leap towards excellence, achievement and development, but it is a well-perceived program and also a combination of 5 goals, which our visionary chairman and we has set out for ourselves. So I request our chairman, please come for the welcome address and for your words.
Thank you, Shweta. Good evening to all. Secretary WRC Shweta Jain, my colleagues in the council, C. Ankit Rathi and C. Rudesh Pankhania, and today's learned faculty, C. Vivek. Vivek is a dear friend and he is expert on this subject. And I have heard him earlier as well. And I'm sure it is going to be a treat listening to him. And all the participants, I welcome all of you. While we were doing the registrations, and it is obvious from the numbers, online we got about 180 and physically we got only 33 registrations, of which in the room right now we got about 12-13 people. So I think there is still a reluctancy to come physically, but slowly we'll try to move towards physical. And maybe IC is also thinking, the CP committee, that some of the programs will be done only physical. So I think that is how slowly the numbers will increase. And actually now the hybrid, if it was virtual, we would have started at sharp on the dot. Because of the physical, it becomes really difficult. And like if people are not there, you're unable to start on time and it creates a little confusion. But I think the changing times and we'll overcome this as well. So like Shweta mentioned, the theme this year is LEAD, that is leap towards excellence, achievement and development. And the 5 goals which we set out this year. First one is enabling members to get into newer areas of practice so that they can maximize their revenue and there can be an overall growth of membership. The second area is enabling members by adoption of technology. So bringing newer technologies to the members' door and trying to encourage them to learn newer things. The third is we want to create a bridge between various sections of membership. And this I'll just immediately cover. So like last year, we started something called as Coach. Lady chartered accountants who were taken off from career because of family reason. Now, before marriage, they would have maybe worked in intern-audit or international tax or valuation or whatever. And they had 5, 7, 8 years experience, but because of family reason, they are now taken a break. So, and there are firms who cannot afford a full salary of a chartered accountant in this newer areas of practice or specialized areas. So here we are trying to become a bridge between these two, where the CA firm can utilize the service of people who are sitting at home and on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis or whatever hourly basis. And they can get the expertise in the different towns and cities across the region. This bridge, which was earlier Khoj, now we are moving it into a Milap, where we are saying there are a lot of large firms in larger cities who get a lot of assignments, but they're looking for CA firms across the length and breadth to support them. So now the firms who want to give the assignment and the firms who want to take the assignment will also get into the platform. And maybe we'll now extend this platform to also the job seekers and the organizations who are ready to hire. So that is the third one, the bridge. The fourth one is like we are looking at ways and means of making the CA course more attractive. And in CA also, we are trying to, after the registration, the students have got a lot of doubts, the parents have got a lot of doubts, they got a lot of queries, anxiety in their mind. So we are looking to start an help desk where we can settle their queries and make them more comfortable when they join the course as well and during the course of the 3.5 year journey. And the fifth one is to like overall improve the image of the ICAI. And overall, we are planning a lot of stuff, but we are saying, can we start writing on social media, proud to be a chartered accountant, or I trust chartered accountant. Okay. So we see a lot of negative being written by people, but I think we'll have to start writing positively about ourselves. Whatever we are today, we are because of these two alphabets. And I think we are encouraging people now to start this campaign. Coming to my first two agendas, see, like at ICI, at WIRC, our signature program is the direct tax refresher course. This year we are saying, let us plan an indirect tax refresher, an international tax, an internal audit, a valuation, a insolvency, bankruptcy, maybe an IPO listing. So we want to bring more and more stuff to the membership by way of a 20 to 30 hours course. And this would include like a detailed study on the subject, but also including practically what type of assignments are delivered, who has delivered, what is the fees, where do you get empaneled, how do you get the work, etc. So that will be a larger thing, a refresher. And maybe members can then choose their area of practice, and along with the traditional also, they can start the newer area of practice as well. Coming to the second goal, which was the IT enablement, we have started the process of creating some small tools and utilities, which will be made available to the membership free of cost to be used in their offices, also in the client's work. Give us about a month's time and we'll be able to tell you what exactly are these, how they are working, and we'll be sharing it on mail to all the members. But anything which you feel a smaller thing which can be automated in a CA office or in a client work or while doing an audit, please do write to us at WRC@ICI and we'll try to put some manpower and try to create a tool or utility which can be easily useful to all the members. The second thing is we are trying to identify various softwares which can be used by our members. And we are talking to the software vendors for a much concessional rate. Today, we were having a discussion with someone like we need to issue certificates, etc. Now, certificates can be signed digitally. So someone has got a solution, and if the certificate can be digitally signed for like say 100 rupee, we are trying to get as up to 50% discount so that our certificate can be issued at a very low cost, something like that. Okay, we're trying to do multiple things and we'll come up with those as well by way of a newsletter or by way of mail to the members. But the last and the most important thing is we want to do a lot of IT courses, and one of them is today, which we are doing on crypto and this thing. But next gen, what is next gen? We want to do that. And we will come up with a longer duration course as well. There are 3 parts to it. In part 1, we are covering data analytics. So SQL database, Python coding, 60 hours on a Friday evening 6 to 8, Saturday evening 6 to 8, Sunday morning 10 to 1, sitting at home on your computer, on your laptop, you get the data, you can do it practically. And the fees is as low as 9,000 rupees. And we already completed 4 batches of 30 each. Only 30 people will be there in the batch, so that it is really a learning and the faculty can also spend time with each one of you. And we want to ensure that after you attend the batch, you go and implement that in your office, in your client's office. The part 2 is on the whole of viewing or presentation, and that covers Tableau and Power BI. Clients want to look at good graphs, charts, tables, etc. So this is again a 40 hours and 5,000 rupees. We are now working and we have successfully done 2 batches of 25 each. Very good feedback on part 1 and part 2. We're launching one more batch in April. For part 3, we are working on the syllabus, and there we want to try to cover automation and digitalization. So bank reco now is automated. You don't need to manually do a bank reconciliation, right? With an RPA bot, bank reco can be automated. Claim processing can be automated. Payroll processing can be automated. So how do you use these bots? How do you implement practically in your office and your client? So that is what we want to cover in the syllabus. We are working on the course curriculum, and we'll soon come out with this. If not in April, in May, definitely we'll launch the first batch of this as well. Last week we did something called as fusion of Tableau and Excel. So 4 days thing. So we'll continuously keep on coming to you with a lot of IT programs, and we'll encourage you guys to join. On virtual, we're also trying to see how we can subsidize the fees. So I think with that, the theme or our endeavor will be to try and encourage the members so that we can adopt the technology, be efficient and effective in our work, and deliver client assignment in an efficient and an ethical manner. So happy learning to all of you. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Friends, cryptocurrency is a form of digital asset which is based on a network that is distributed across a large number of computers. And nowadays, we can say it's a trendy or now talk of the town. So, and today we are with us a very eminent and learned faculty, CA Vivek Shah, with us. And now it is our duty to welcome him. So I request our chairman, WRC CA Murtaza Kashwala, please present a small memento as a token of appreciation to our today's faculty. So before handing over charge to the speaker, I request my council colleague Ankit Rathi for just a brief introduction.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good evening, friends. With this, I will give brief introduction of our today learned speaker for need of the hard and very important topic, cryptocurrency. Vivek Shah is a BCom, CA, ISA, APF from USA, forensic auditor. He is practicing chartered accountant from Mumbai, having specialization in information system audit and forensic audit. Prior to starting his practice, he has worked with Deloitte. Currently, he has client range from startup to public limited company in various sector. He is regular speaker in various form, bank, CBI office, bureaucrats of various ministry of the Indian government and multiple organization. With this, I request Vivek bhai kindly take the charge of sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Mr. Chairman, Madam Secretary, and all council members for inviting me over here. It is an honor and privilege both to be presenting over here after a very long time in the physical format. So to all members over here who are in virtual format, so there are some benefits that you get if you attend physically in the auditorium. The biggest benefit is you can take whatever complimentary advice you want from me till the time I'm in the institute premises. The moment I step out of it, then it's a professional relationship. So here's the icing on the cake. So anyone who's over here, आपको जो advice चाहिए, आप यहाँ से ले सकते हो till the time I'm in this premises. So we're talking about cryptocurrencies, and we're talking about a topic which is quite the talk of the town, as Madam Secretary rightly said, is not because there is a 30% tax now. Okay? So I'm not going to tell chartered accountants that 30% tax कैसे calculate होता है. I'm not here for that. Okay, I'm not going to say that TDS 1% किस तरह से आपको calculate करना है. We already know that. So when we are going to talk about this topic about cryptocurrencies, we will explore what are some professional opportunities that we can get out of it. We will understand what the technology is. We will understand how can we upskill ourselves. I'm using a word very cautiously, upskill ourselves and change our role as auditors in future. We are not engineers who are going to develop the blockchain. Okay, that's not our job. But when our role changes, we need to upskill ourselves. So we will be discussing that as well. Just a small legal disclaimer over here. Whatever is discussed either in this auditorium or virtually, which is being recorded as well, whatever we discuss shall be covered under the Chatham House Rules of London, which means you can Google about it, but which means that whatever I say, you can use it, okay, but you cannot attribute it to me. मतलब मैं कह रहा हूं because I have knowledge, but that does not mean I am actively doing it. Okay. Yeah, so it's important to give disclaimers when we're talking on certain topics where there are a lot of wrongdoings that are happening. Okay, it's a very good technology. Blockchain is a very good technology, but unfortunately, there is a lot of misuse of technology as well. And a lot of people say that technology is a double-edged sword. Okay, so the internet has its pros and cons both. जितना उससे फायदा हो सकता है उतना नुकसान भी हो सकता है. And cryptocurrency is, or blockchain technology is one such thing that if you don't know how to get out of it, don't get into it. So having said that, let's begin with our presentation. And whatever we discuss, I always believe whatever we discuss should somehow and in some way benefit the country. So I always say nation comes first forever and always. And with this, we begin our session for today. So what is blockchain technology? I've divided this presentation in 3 parts. The first part is understanding what is the technology. The second part is cryptocurrency and its legal and taxation related aspects and its professional aspects. And third is the question and answer. So I would encourage all of you all, both the ones who are attending virtually and physically, to ask as many questions as possible, because we want to make this as interactive as possible for the benefit of all members. So first and foremost, blockchain is a technology which is redefining the way we transact with each other. And that is because it uses the openness of the internet and the security of cryptography. Now, just to sum up, what does this mean that there is the openness of the internet? Anyone having internet can access a blockchain. Anyone having a normal internet connection can access blockchain. And when we talk about the security, okay, so if everyone can access it, what is the level of security or privacy that's maintained? So the level of security that is maintained is it uses cryptography in order to secure a transaction. Now, cryptography is a protocol. It's a security protocol. Ekdam simple language mein agar aapko example do. So when we use a digital signature to upload our returns, our ITRs, the same technology that is used in that is called as cryptography. Now, this technology is going to change the way we interact with each other. And this is the underlying technology. This is the underlying technology which was used to develop the first cryptocurrency, which is known as Bitcoin. So this is the underlying technology. However, ever since it was developed, it has been used for multiple other cryptocurrencies. It has been used for multiple other technologies. And just to share a perspective between what is blockchain and what is cryptocurrency. Blockchain is a huge technology which has one very small application which is called as cryptocurrency. Again, to share a perspective, if I was to give another example or an analogy, I will give an analogy of what is the internet. The internet is a technology. It is much larger than just Google, which is one application or a search engine. So the same correlation applies over here between blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. So blockchain is the larger technology and cryptocurrency is just one small application of the technology, just the way internet is a much larger technology and search engine optimization, search engines such as Google are just one such application. So that's the difference between blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. Now, this technology can be used for multiple other purposes and activities such as banking, supply chain management, medical records, land revenue records, and so on. when we talk about banking, the first major breakthrough of or adoption of this technology that we see, apart from cryptocurrency is just one small part. Let's keep that aside for the time being. We'll come on to it in the second part of this presentation. So when we talk about banking, that's the first adoption of the technology which we're going to see at a massive scale in the next few years in India and even globally. If we talk about banks in India, they've already started developing their own blockchains. For example, ICICI is developing its own blockchain. Axis is developing its own blockchain. HDFC is developing its own blockchain. DCB, I am aware about that, and I also met the person who was in charge of developing its blockchain. So these banks have already started developing their blockchain. Now, when it gets regulated and once it is notified by the RBI that what is the structure of blockchain in the Indian banking industry going to be, at that time these blockchains will start getting released. Now, I'll give you an example. In the early 2000s, if somebody told you that you could send crores of rupees sitting in your office through your laptop or your computer, people would have laughed at you. Crore rupees hum kaise bhej sakte without going to the branch physically? But then we saw internet banking coming in the early 2000s. Somewhere in the early 2010s, the same set of people said that now you can send crores of rupees from a mobile phone. You don't even have to go to don't even have to use a computer. People again laughed, crore rupees kaise bhej sakte ek mobile phone se, ek chote se mobile phone se. But it is possible. Similarly, now if people say that RTGS takes 15 minutes time, on an average 10 to 15 minutes is the time taken. If people say that now you can send your RTGS on blockchain in less than 2 seconds or 3 seconds, that is the power of blockchain. Why just restrict ourselves to RTGSs in India? Why not expand our horizons to global remittances? Today, SWIFT transactions, it is a wire transfer. It is a protocol where money is transferred from one country to another country. It is a messaging system. कोई actually थोड़ी पैसा उठा के लेके जा रहा है India से US. So through such protocols, it still takes 2 days. In which world are we living? T+2 for settlement of SWIFT transactions. I think that is really 1990s. Blockchain technology can solve this problem at a fraction of a cost and in a fraction of the total time taken. So this is the power of blockchain technology. Now we will further discuss how secure is this technology. So when we talk about security and when we talk about privacy, this technology has been developed in such a manner where you cannot add, edit, delete, modify, or change any form of data once it is entered into the system without it getting notified to other users when you change it. For example, we have Rudesh Pankhania, the RCM, sitting over here in the audience right now with us. If I have given him 1 crore rupees, hypothetically, I don't have 1 crore, but still, in case if I have given 1 crore rupees to him, okay, and I want to change it and make it 10 crore rupees. I just have to add 1 zero. Okay? If I just add 1 zero, once the transaction is entered, 1 zero ही तो change किया, कौन सी बड़ी बात है? But that one small change will get notified to everyone across the system, and it will start canceling all transactions that have taken place after this transaction. So this is how the technology works. So if I change 1 bit of information, just I add 1 zero or remove 1 zero, all other transactions start getting cancelled in the blockchain environment, and all other users start getting notified that all transactions are getting cancelled. So you will not allow that to happen. So then you go in you remove the entire list of log of transactions that have happened. आप reverse में check करने जाओगे. Is this transaction fine? Is this transaction fine? Is this transaction fine? Then you find this one particular transaction which has changed. So you will then go and you will rectify it. Now the power of this comes in the decentralized format. Decentralized means as of now, everything is centralized. Banking is centralized, stock exchanges are centralized, money is centralized. For example, if anything happens in the banking scenario, we have RBI, which takes care about all transactions. When we talk about stock exchanges, we have an authority or a regulatory body called as the SEBI. So all transactions in India and also in the world are centralized, where there is some authority, when there is some regulatory body which takes care of the environment in which these transactions are taking place. But when we talk about blockchain, it is a decentralized system. It is called as a decentralized public ledger, which means the ledger is open for scrutiny to all. There is nothing to hide. However, whenever transactions take place, they take place between account holders. This tarah se aapka Paytm, if anyone is using a Paytm wallet, so your mobile number is your wallet number. Similarly, when you deal in banks, your account number is your identity. Similarly, in a blockchain environment, your wallet address is your identity. Now, but who owns that wallet may not necessarily be known to all other users of the system. So that is how it is said that it is a decentralized and a public distributed ledger where there is not one server which is holding information. The information is also held across multiple computers across the world. But when we talk about a private blockchain, for example, when we move on to a banking blockchain, so of course that data cannot be shared publicly with everyone. So there will be a protocol in which that information is shared in a limited manner with the limited set of people. So just the way in your, again, correlating it with our office computers and our office servers, just the way we have a server in our office or probably a cloud server, not everyone can access every file. You can decide who will access which files. Similarly, in Tally also, if someone is using Tally as an accounting software, you can decide which set of people can use which file. Similarly, in a particular file also, you can decide who can edit, who can add, and who can delete, and who can only view transactions. So that is called as user right management. So that will also be embedded and that will also be developed in the blockchain environment when we move to more regulated businesses such as banking. So as I said, it is a decentralized system where the verification would come from the users themselves. Okay, so blockchain aims to replace all centralized systems with decentralized systems. And blockchain has the power and has the potential to remove all bottlenecks in processes that are taking place right now. Blockchain can reduce cost, it can reduce the amount of time taken, and it can increase the capacity. Moving forward, at the core of this technology, it is about recording your data. It is about recording transactions. Those transactions could be about movement of money, movement of assets. It could be about recording any form of data, not necessarily only financial data. For example, if the government of India decides to put all the Aadhaar data on blockchain, this is a hypothetical scenario. Government has categorically refused, it will not put it on blockchain. It is presently regulated by UIDAI, which is a government autonomous body. However, if the government decides to put Aadhaar data on blockchain, imagine the things it can do extremely easily, because blockchain has our biometrics, blockchain has our retina scans, our fingerprints, it has our address proof linked with it, it has our PAN card, passport linked with it, it has our driving license linked with it, it also has our LPG gas subsidy nowadays. That is also linked with Aadhaar. Our property data is recorded with Aadhaar. So nowadays, when you go and buy or sell a property, you have to give your Aadhaar. So if everything is there, which is linked with Aadhaar, and if that was to go on blockchain, wishful thinking, hypothetical scenario, if that was to go on blockchain, it will lead to something called as ease of living. A lot of times we read in newspapers that there's ease of doing business and India is scaling up over the last couple of years. But when we talk about ease of living, this can actually happen once the data is put on blockchain. However, government in its own wisdom has decided not to put it on blockchain. But just imagine what would happen if that happens. So when we talk about blockchain, how does this technology exactly work? Let's try to get to the basics of it. So the first part is to gather and record data in blocks. Okay, so that's where the name blockchain has been derived from. Block and chain. First, gather data, put them in blocks, and then upload it in the cloud and chain it with the network. So that is how the word block and chain has been derived. Now, when we talk about gathering data, we can gather any form of data, right? As I said, it's not only monetary or financial transactions, it could be any form of data that has to be gathered. So if any form of data that is to be gathered, I will give an example. Let's understand, because all of us are chartered accountants over here. I will give examples with which we can relate easily. In our offices, we have files, and in our files, each box file, let's say, has a capacity of 200 pages, A4 size pages. Okay, so the first page comes in, you punch it, you file it. Second page comes in, you punch it, you file it. Third page comes in, you give a description of what the document is and file it. Once it reaches 200 pages, you cannot put any more pages. Okay, so what do? You will give a particular name to the file, that it belongs to XYZ client or to a particular department. Then you will give the year, you will give the you will give the location to which it belongs to, and then finally you will also once the file is full, you will put an index and you will wrap it up and put it up in the archive section, or you'll put it in a go down, or put it at a place where you will not use it on a daily basis. Blockchain does exactly the same thing. Blockchain does exactly the same thing as far as recording of data is concerned. Every block has a particular capacity. In our example, it was 200 pages in a box file. So let's assume every block has a capacity of 200 transactions. Those transactions could be anything. For ease of understanding, we will say they are financial transactions. So every debit or every credit transaction gets recorded in a particular block. Now, every time a transaction enters into the system, it gets a timestamp. Now, what is a timestamp? A timestamp is like an inward entry. Whenever you enter any government department, you have to make an entry in the register that you are entering this building, you have come from where, what is your name, and what is the inward time. So the time at which the transaction enters the system is called as the timestamp. And every transaction gets a unique timestamp. No two transactions can get the same timestamp. So that is an inward entry. Once the transaction gets a timestamp, after that, each transaction gets a unique timestamp, and then the block is full. 200 transaction ho gaye, 200 transactions are done, and now that no more transaction can go. So the way you pick up the file and put it in the go down or put it in some other shelf, similarly, you have to put this transaction, you have to put this block also onto the server, upload it. So all the transactions get uploaded, and this transaction or this block also gets a timestamp once it goes onto the chain. So this is how the uniqueness of each and every transaction is maintained, and this is how no two transactions will ever have the same timestamp, because har ek transaction alag time pe enter hua hai. So this is how this technology works, and I will also give a good example of how this technology can be used in the stock exchanges. So in the financial markets, this is a use case scenario. In the financial markets, trades get executed in a matter of seconds. Earlier, people used to call their brokers. Now people have broking apps on their phone itself, something like a Zerodha. So transactions get executed within seconds. But as we know it, settlement of those securities could take up to 2 days, which is T+2 settlement or T+1 or T+2 settlement. Now, why should the transactions not get settled immediately? I have shares. I want to sell them. I should get money immediately in my account. Why should I have to wait for the settlement to take place, and then ultimately the money would get reflected in my bank account after 2 days? Why should there be lags in such thing? Why should there be delays? When we are living in such times where you can send money, where you can transact in a matter of seconds, why should there be a delay for getting the settlement or getting the securities in your demat account? So there are two depositories, NSDL and CDSL. Okay. Once blockchain technology is fully embedded into the economy, at that point of time, I don't know whether organizations like NSDL and CDSL will ever be required. So imagine the amount of disruption blockchain technology is going to bring. People will lose jobs by the millions if they don't upskill themselves. And I'm glad that we chartered accountants have taken up this initiative to upskill our members. So this is really commendable on part of the institute also, where we see that our members have a need to upskill themselves. So when we talk about this use case scenario in stock markets, just a minute, I think. Yes. So a smart contract is a solution to the stock markets. As the word says, it's smart. Okay, I think there's some issue. Just a minute, I'll go on the exact slide. Yes. So a smart contract is a solution to So a smart contract is a solution to this issue. And what is a smart contract? Okay, let's understand what is a smart contract. Phones have started getting smart, and probably people are not getting as smart. People used to earlier remember phone numbers and would also know how to navigate to a particular place. But now phones are getting smarter and people are not getting that smart. So a smart contract is exactly what it says. It is smart. It can execute 2 or 3 commands, or it can execute multiple instructions with a particular computer written code. It can connect to multiple blockchains as well. Okay, so for example, there is a stock market blockchain. In future, there will be there is certainly going to be a banking blockchain. In future, there could also be a land records blockchain. You know, right now we have to go to the sub-registrar's office for recording of purchase and sale transactions. So in future, there is also going to be a land records blockchain. For example, the government of Telangana has decided that they're going to convert all of their land records onto the blockchain. The government of UAE has already done it. So their records are already on blockchain. So the banking blockchain will connect with the land records blockchain. The banking blockchain will connect with the stock market blockchain, and multiple blockchains can connect with each other. There is absolutely no harm. It's extremely easy to connect multiple blockchains with each other. So a smart contract can swap different assets for different requirements. For example, if I want to sell shares, I can only get the money in my bank account. Okay. But what if I want to sell shares and buy a house? Is that possible today? No, it's not possible today. So in future, once there are multiple blockchains, each of these blockchains will connect with each other. And I will be able to sell my shares in real time and buy my house in real time. And why are we just restricting ourselves or our thoughts just to India? So let your thoughts flow globally, because blockchain is a global technology. You sell shares in India and buy a house in London. Is that possible? With blockchain, it is possible. Of course, there are regulatory hurdles, and then there are a lot of laws which will have to amend with time. But as on date, this is not possible. But blockchain can make it possible. Sell a house in London and buy shares in India. Very much possible. Sell shares in India and buy a house in US and buy a car in London. Very much possible. Very much possible. That's the power of a smart contract. And a smart contract is a solution. Again, as I said, we don't have to do the coding to develop a smart contract. There are engineers, let them do it. But we must know what is the potential of this technology. So this is just a description or a pictorial diagram, I would say, to explain what this technology is going to be. Because it is a technology, it is more about visualization. You know, we will have to visualize, we will have to imagine how this technology is going to work. So on your left, you have the stock blockchain, and on your right, you have the payments blockchain or the banking blockchain. So when you sell shares, those transactions are happening on the stock blockchain on your left, and the money has to come on the other blockchain, which is on the right, which is the payments blockchain, or which is the banking blockchain. Now, a smart contract is something which is a bridge between these two blockchains. So, you know, the very first thing which I said about a smart contract is that it connects to multiple blockchains. So this is how a smart contract will be a bridge between the payments blockchain and between the stock blockchain. And that's how transactions can happen in real time, with delivery of instruments in real time, with entries happening in your debit and credit entries, both in a bank account and in a demat account happening at the same time. Moving ahead, as I also mentioned that Aadhaar would actually be a very good example of the application of blockchain technology. Let's think, if not India, there could be some other country which could put all of their citizens' data on a blockchain, and which could help their own citizens to use the benefits of this technology. So are we ready for blockchain? Are we ready for blockchain? You know, there are a lot of technological hurdles, you know, and I want to make it a little interactive over here. So anyone who wishes to ask or answer, you know, please feel free to type in the chat box, or please feel free to ask questions over here who are present in the auditorium right now. So will this require upgradation of hardware and software? Will this technology require upgradation of hardware and software? Yes, no, maybe? Yes. So everyone over here agrees that this will require upgradation of hardware and software. So now the next question is, the follow-up question is that who is going to bear the cost? Who's going to bear the cost of upgradation of hardware and software? You and I are not going to build blockchains by ourselves. So will companies invest their money in development of blockchains? Yes, exactly. So companies that stand to benefit the most will invest the most in it. For example, when we talk about blockchain supply chain management, okay, that is very much possible. So when we talk about blockchain and supply chain management, so I think companies like Amazon should invest in it. And well, they are. They are developing their own blockchain. When we talk about medical records being stored in a blockchain environment, imagine, traditionally, you go to your family doctor knows your family history. Your family doctor also knows your history. They know which medicines are you allergic to. So they automatically will prescribe a certain set of medicines if you have cough, cold, or fever. Now, imagine a person is traveling across the world. Okay. And in other countries, people may not know what are you allergic to, or even in the same country, when you're traveling to another city, they will not know your medical history. So if a person's individual medical history right from birth is stored on blockchain, imagine the amount of benefits that can be taken out of such a technology. Imagine if land records are to be kept on blockchain, it removes all kind of litigation. Today, if there is a land dispute and if it is lodged in the courts today, there's a very high possibility that the next generation will also have to attend the hearings of that matter, of that dispute. Imagine the amount of benefit that can be reaped out of these kind of technologies. If the entire country, if all the land which is owned by everyone is put on blockchain, if it's land, it is land. And if it is a building, the apartment number or whatever is the digital identity of each and every flat or unit. If that is put on blockchain, it ends the matter of any form of litigation or disputes. A lot of times people hear about things that, one builder, a fly-by-night builder has built only one building. He has sold one flat to 4 people. And those 4 people have taken loans from 4 different banks. And now all 4 of them are absconding. Happens quite often, at least in a city like Mumbai. It happens quite regularly, and of course it also happens in other places as well, that one parcel of land is sold to 4 different people, and all 4 people have now put a claim on that land. If the land records were on blockchain, this would have never happened. It is practically not possible, because ownership belongs only to one person. Of course, if it is a parcel of land, if it's a 4-acre land and there are 4 different people, and you have sold 1 acre to each of those 4 people. So all of those 4 people will also get assigned unique IDs. So you are the owner of that digital ID. And that simplifies the matter. No property disputes, no land disputes, no banking disputes. You are the owner of the digital asset. That's about it. So now when we talk about it further, will governments accept it? Okay, will governments accept it? What do you think? Eventually, yes, I think that's the correct answer. As on date, I will tell you what is the stand that the government of India has taken. Back in 2016 or 17, on the floor of the house, the then finance minister, late Shri Arun Jaitley ji, said, after concluding his budget speech, that India does not consider cryptocurrencies as legal tender. However, it will explore the ways by which it can benefit from the use of blockchain technology. So it's not that the government did not know about blockchain technology, and it's just that they've come to know about it in 2022. It's not that. Government knew it back then, and from the parliament records, you can find this what the then finance minister said. So right now things are centralized, right? Banking is centralized. There's a regulatory authority, RBI, which controls all the banks, all banking transactions, and all customers of all banks. Will they want to dilute that power? That's where the problem is. Okay, that's where the issue starts. Should they lose control just in the name of technology? Do you want to lose that power as a regulatory authority? When we talk about money is regulated. Money is regulated by the RBI. It is a sovereign right. If tomorrow you and I can start issuing money, not that we are going to, but if we have the power to do it, are we undermining the authority of regulatory authorities? So that's where the problem is. So governments, of course, when it comes to blockchain technology, I think all governments across the world will accept the technology. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, or when it comes to decentralization of power, I think that's where governments will have a little bit of a hindrance. I won't say they will reject it, but that's where governments will have their apprehensions and may not necessarily accept the technology for these reasons. Unemployment, as I said, there will be unemployment by the millions. Millions of people are going to lose job as and when technology comes in. I will also put this out, audit as a profession. Okay, audit as a profession will face massive unemployment, because most of the things, as rightly even Mr. Chairman said, that bank reconciliation now happens automatically with a click of a button. You don't need a human to do bank reconciliation. Similarly, audit to a very large extent will be taken over by machines. When I say machines, they are softwares, softwares and codes. Where do you need human intervention? Okay, so hypothetically, if a country needs 100 auditors, and if 80% of it is automated, then the country needs only 20 auditors. Now break that down from a country to a company, and from a company to an individual practice, and from an individual practice to a particular chartered accountant. That is how technology. So this is about our profession. Similarly, it's going to happen with all other professions. Imagine not needing organizations like the NSDL and CDSL. वो क्या करते हैं? What is their if we were to really break it down, कि वो लोग काम क्या करते हैं? ठीक है? What have they achieved in life? They take securities from one account and they put securities in another demat account. That's the only thing that they're doing. That is the job of NSDL and CDSL, and for which there are thousands of people who are employed. They do transactions in thousands of crores of rupees every year. And what have they achieved? यहाँ से securities निकालो और यहाँ पे securities जाके रख दो. That's it. But why do you need corporations for that? Just write a computer code. The code will do it for free. Develop a code once, okay, and just keep on repeating it. So as I said, unemployment will happen by the millions. So the only thing is that you need to upskill yourselves. Okay, we're not trying to fight or run against any technology, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to upskill ourselves by gaining knowledge about it. Can it be influenced by economic and political factors? Yes, certainly, as everyone agrees over here. When we shift from an existing technology to a new age technology, can it compete with large institutions? I'll share a perspective over here. Till now, whenever we wanted to make foreign remittances, I won't say remittances, but let's say someone wants to subscribe to some magazine, some financial magazine abroad. Okay, you have to swipe your credit card and pay those $5, $10 as a monthly subscription. That is how it generally happens. Now, we use a card, a MasterCard or a Visa card or an Amex card. Those are large corporations working in hundreds of countries. Okay, in almost every country across the world, they have their presence. But when there is blockchain technology or when there's cryptocurrency, it undermines their authority as a large institution. You will not need a debit card or a credit card to make payments to anyone. When you have money in a digital format, in the form of cryptocurrency, you can easily just pay money directly. So when you swipe a debit card or a credit card in foreign currency, you generally get charged 3 or 3.5% as foreign currency markup, plus the one in whose account it goes. Even he pays a merchant discount rate, MDR, which is 1%, 2% or 3%. So imagine, just for facilitating a transaction, there is a 6% loss. But when the same transaction is done through cryptocurrencies, there is absolutely no loss. Whatever amount you send, that's the amount that they receive. Now, so can it compete with large organizations and institutions? Probably it'll give a tough fight, but I think eventually, once the technology is adopted, those organizations and institutions will have to adapt themselves to the new technology. And they already have. So I will also share more information about what has happened at a global level. So at a global level, in other countries, MasterCard and Visa have started developing and started issuing cryptocurrency debit cards. Now that was their way of tackling their problem and their existence. When they thought that their existence was under threat, they started issuing cryptocurrency debit cards, which is to say, they said that you can load cryptocurrency in this card and use this card and swipe anywhere, and we, depending on whatever is the price at that point of time, we will convert it into rupees or US dollars or Hong Kong dollars or Canadian dollars, and we will let you swipe your card. So that was their answer to their threat. Now, when it comes to standardization, is there any standardization of cryptocurrencies in India or anywhere in the world? Not as of now. Is it regulated? Let's understand. Are cryptocurrencies regulated? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, mixed answers. So the answer is that in some countries, they are regulated and in some they're not. In some countries, they are categorically defined as illegal. In some countries, they're categorically defined as legal. And then there are some countries like India, which has chosen to keep quiet. Okay. I'll give you a very short summary of why I said this. The government of India knew that there are cryptocurrencies back in 2016. Okay. After Arun Jaitley's speech, he said that. So it's not that they were not aware, they were aware. So did they legalize it at that point of time, or did they declare it as illegal? No. His words were categorically, he said, and I quote, that we do not accept cryptocurrencies as a legal tender. Okay. What do you make out of it? It is not a legal tender, but is it a digital asset? They knew it is a digital asset, but they never declared it as a digital asset until now. Until 1st of February 2022, in the budget speech, when Honorable Finance Minister said that virtual digital assets or VDAs will be taxed. So then, of course, because the word was crypto and currency, okay, the word was cryptocurrency. So the matter went to the RBI. So RBI said that we also do not consider this as a legal tender. Okay, so RBI kept quiet. Then there was certain cryptocurrency self-regulated, so-called and self-assumed exchanges. I say that because if it is an exchange, who should have the jurisdiction in India? SEBI? Okay. Okay, so SEBI said that because cryptocurrency is not a legal tender, nor is it recognized as a currency, commodity, equity, or bond. Okay, I do not have jurisdiction over such exchanges. Our access or our mandate is to regulate only these specific asset classes. So SEBI ne bhi haath upar kar diye. First was Finance Ministry, they kept quiet. Second was RBI, which kept quiet. Third was now SEBI. So any person who started a company and said ki main exchange hu kal se, they became exchanges. Imagine the amount of effort which had gone for NSE and BSE to get registered as exchanges. Tomorrow, if you want to start a new exchange, imagine the amount of documentation that is required. You should have a particular amount of net worth. You should have a particular amount of shareholding, which is with public, which is not held privately. And there are hundreds of other criteria. You and I cannot just go to SEBI and say कि कल से हमें भी exchange चालू करना है. There's a process to start an exchange. There are multiple exchanges, right? Not just NSE and BSE. We have MCX, we have NCDX, we have currency exchanges. We have there's a diamond exchange also. I don't know, not many people are aware about it, but there is an exchange for diamonds also. You can buy, sell, and trade diamonds. So similarly, SEBI also decided to keep quiet. So as far as the Indian scenario is concerned, okay, I don't want to blame any one person or any one authority or regulator or department. I call this as a curious case of a collective failure. सबने जानबूझ के सब चुप बैठे. So this is what happens when there is no regulatory clarity. So as far as legal recognition is concerned, there is no legal recognition for cryptocurrencies in India. However, other countries have accepted it as legal tender. El Salvador, the president, young chap, the president came out and gave a public appearance, and he said that from today, because their currency is heavily dependent on another major currency, so the president said that we want to reduce our dependence on foreign currencies for transacting in our country. Hence, we are going to accept Bitcoin as a legal tender. So you can now pay taxes in Bitcoin. You can invest in land and property in Bitcoin. You can even pay your parking fines in that country in Bitcoin. Like imagine today, when you not today, but if a person had bought Bitcoin at $40,000 per Bitcoin, then it went up to $60,000 per Bitcoin. Then it came down to $35,000. So imagine when it is at its peak, you sell your Bitcoin and pay taxes. How incredible would that be? Like just imagine. जब प्राइस बढ़ गया बिटकॉइन का, तब आपने आपका एडवांस टैक्स भर दिया. Just a thought. Not that it's going to happen anytime soon in India, but just sharing a thought. Similarly, there are other countries also which are accepting Bitcoin as a legal tender. There are very few countries who are doing that. However, there are many more countries which are recognizing it as an asset. Many countries which have done that, such as the entire US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, they have accepted cryptocurrencies as a separate form of asset. You can buy, sell, trade, make profit, pay taxes. You can do whatever you want to. However, in countries like Japan, it is 55% that you pay tax on crypto transactions or virtual digital assets. In the Indian context, as it is called, in India, you pay 30%. In Australia, probably it is somewhere around 15%. In Singapore, it is around 15%. So, but India decided to charge 30%. It is said that it is almost at par with gambling. No deduction of expenses, no set off of losses. You know, when it was said that losses cannot be set off, the only thought which came to my mind at that in that spur of the moment was that this is something like privatization of losses and nationalization of profits. So अगर profit है तो वो देश का हक बनता है चार्ज करना, लेकिन अगर loss है तो भाई वो आप देख लीजिए. So privatization of losses and nationalization of profits is what is the scenario in India. Now, moving forward, what are the security concerns or hacking threats? Okay, a lot of Bitcoin wallets, a lot of cryptocurrency wallets do get hacked. That is to say, today when you go off to sleep, you have $50,000 in your wallet, but tomorrow when you wake up, it's zero. That is very much possible in cryptocurrency wallets. It does happen. And ऐसा भी नहीं कि आपने किसी को OTP दिया. At least in India, you can blame yourself कि हाँ मुझे किसी random caller का phone आया, उसने बोला कि KYC block हो जाएगा, account block हो जाएगा, OTP दो. So if a person out of his or her own stupidity does that, he or she can blame him or herself. But for cryptocurrency wallets, you cannot blame anyone. They just get hacked and billions of dollars get transferred with a click of a button. So hackers come, they steal money and they go away. And because it is cryptocurrency, there is anonymity. There is no particular person. There is no KYC verified account, right? उसमें तो KYC नहीं होता, आधार कार्ड, पैन कार्ड लिंक कर दीजिए, कुछ नहीं होता. So there are a lot of hacking threats that happen. And of course, as I say, technology is never unhackable. So technology and security are it's a race which happens. So the moment something gets hacked, there will be a security patch and security will upgrade itself. The moment security is upgraded, there will be some hacking attempt. So it's a continuous process. It's an evolving process. It just depends that who's handling your security. Okay? So it is not unhackable. And finally, is it a currency or a business? I think cryptocurrency is not just about currencies, but blockchain technology is much more than currency. It's a business. So now we move to the second part of the presentation, which will talk about cryptocurrencies. So any questions so far? Even in the virtual mode, if there are any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. If I see them on the screen, I will try to answer them. If not, I'll take questions from the audience over here. Yes, please go ahead.
What is the impact of cryptocurrency on physical currencies?
Okay, so the question is, what is the impact of cryptocurrencies on physical currencies? Well, I'm repeating it is because when you said it over here, people in the virtual mode would not have heard it. So the biggest impact is that it undermines a country's sovereign right to issue currencies. Okay, issuing currency is a sovereign right. वो एक देश का हक है. Let's go 5,000 years ago. आजकल की बात नहीं करते, 5,000 साल पहले. When there used to be kingdoms. Okay, each kingdom would issue their own currency, their own coins. Those coins could be issued in gold, in silver, in copper, or in any other metal, because they had some underlying value attached to it. So if you were to go in a particular kingdom, you could not say that from tomorrow I'm going to issue coins of your kingdom. Okay, so this is 5,000 years ago. Now let's come back to last 100 years. Or last 200 years or last 500 years about Indian civilization, not even going in any other country. Indian civilization. India or Bharat as we know it, was always a culmination of kingdoms, princely states and kingdoms. So each kingdom or each state had its own currency being issued. They used to regulate that currency, and every currency had some underlying value attached to it. Let's go back in the last 50 years. Or 60 years, actually, 60 years ago. Every currency printed was backed by some gold reserve, okay? And each country would have its own currency. Now let's go back to last 40 years. gold linked currencies were abolished. Okay, so now people could print more currency even if they didn't have gold reserves or any other natural resource or any other metal reserve. Come to last 10 years. You could start printing as much money as you want. Okay, and now come to today's day and age. Every person in every country is saying, now I will start printing my own currency. So what happens in such a case? When you print a lot of money, okay, it leads to inflation. Okay, world over, there is massive inflation because suddenly during COVID, certain countries decided to give allowances to their citizens. आप कुछ काम मत कीजिए, we'll give you $1,500. Sit at home. Okay, so if there are 4 working people in a house, you get $6,000. Now they were not making that much money even when they were working. So why do you think there is inflation in the country? Because when you give someone who doesn't deserve something, okay, without doing anything in return, that leads to inflation. And forget developed countries. Okay, let's go to the lesser developed countries or the third world countries as they're called. So once upon a time in somewhere around 2005 or 10, I'm not exactly sure when, Zimbabwe decided to print as much currency as they wanted. So then inflation reached a few thousand million times. The inflation percentage, when we hear 7% inflation, 10% inflation, 8% inflation, those are the annual figures. In Zimbabwe, there was million% inflation per annum. Millions and millions of percentage inflation per annum. So then there was a scenario where you would have a $1 million note of the Zimbabwean currency. And with that one note, you could only buy a loaf of bread. So to answer your very specific question, what is the impact of cryptocurrencies on normal currencies, or technically they're called as fiat currencies? US dollar, the sterling pound, the Chinese yuan, Japanese yen, and the Indian rupee, all are called as fiat currencies. So what cryptocurrencies can essentially have is it can have an inflationary impact on fiat currencies. So that can lead to inflation. Any other questions? Yes, please.
The government also announced the
Yes.
how does it translate in how does it compare to a fiat? Basically, how is it different than a UPI transaction that we normally do? It's still a digital transaction.
Correct.
How is it different?
All right. So Monish's question over here is that the government has announced that there is going to be a central bank digital currency or CBDC. So how is it different from a UPI transaction? So firstly, CBDCs are going to be issued by a centralized authority called as a RBI, because in India, the power to issue currency is only with RBI. It's not with the present government of the day. Government cannot issue any currency notes. Correct? So we are clear about that. Cryptocurrencies, on the other hand, cryptocurrencies can be issued by anyone and everyone. So if you and I want to get together and issue another coin tomorrow, we can. Okay, there is no prohibition on that. So the difference is CBDC is going to be regulated, or CBDC is a central bank digital currency. So CBDC is going to be regulated, and it will be a bridge between what cryptocurrencies are and how do you transact in a blockchain environment. So in cryptocurrencies, you will not know what is the identity of the holder of that cryptocurrency. Probably when CBDC comes, government will have a mechanism to track who's the holder of that cryptocurrency. So a flow of money, or an audit trail as we call it, एक audit trail record हो सकता है. So that is about CBDCs. Now, how is it going to be different from UPI? I do not have an answer to that. That is not because I do not have an answer. Probably the government doesn't have an answer. Yeah. So how will it be different from UPI? I don't know. UPI, just for the record, UPI is one of the best and the most robust systems across the world. When we talk about the so-called developed countries, what are the charges for wire transfers over there? If you have a normal account, you're not a HNI account or anything. Normal wire transfer charges are $10, $15, $20 per transaction. मतलब RTGS करना और कोई आपको बोले 1500 रुपया लगेगा, you will not go to that bank. So this is how the so-called developed world is banking. In some other countries, if you want to do a wire transfer, they charge you $57 or $100 per transaction. In some other countries also, they charge a percentage of the amount sent. Imagine if such things happen in India. If some bank comes and says, "Sir, आपको 1 crore भेजने 1 टका खर्चा लगेगा." Will you ever bank with such kind of a bank? So what we think is as impossible, okay, those things are very much possible in other countries, and we must appreciate the work that RBI has done in controlling banks in controlling transactions in the banking environment. So we must appreciate where credit is due. So when we talk about cryptocurrencies, so now we move on to the section of cryptocurrencies. So at present, there are more than 9,500 cryptocurrencies, and probably today there will be even more. So this figure was of last week. And in all fairness, I want to give this disclosure. There'll be at least 100, 200 new cryptocurrencies, which are recognized cryptocurrencies. Okay? Matlab, there could be even more, but out of the ones which are tracked and which are recorded, there are 9,500 until last week. Probably this week, there'll be another 200. So it'll be 9,700. I was writing an article for one of the magazines, and I was supposed to put a number that how many cryptocurrencies are there. So I wrote 9,500 as on that date. But by the time it is published, probably it could be 10,000. So I gave that disclaimer in the magazine as well. So when we talk about cryptocurrencies, the best known cryptocurrencies right now that we generally hear about are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Shiba Inu karke bhi ek choti si cryptocurrency, which is like a meme currency. And then there's something called as a Dogecoin. So the total market cap, now since we are chartered accountants and from the financial background, let's understand kitna paisa kitna hai isme. Okay, the total market cap, which is the total number of coins issued multiplied by the present market price. The total market cap is more than $2 trillion. $2 trillion is the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies put together. 2 trillion hota kitna hai? ठीक है? How much is 2 trillion? So 1,000 billion equates to 1 trillion. So 2,000 billion dollars worth of cryptocurrencies are there. Now, how much is 1 billion? 7,500 crore. So 7,500 crores into 2,000 times is the total value of cryptocurrencies. I have not even calculated. Maybe the calculator will give an error if you try to calculate it. So 2 trillion is the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies put together. Usme choti, badi, fraud, genuine, everything included. In case if someone has from the audience over here, virtually and physically, if anyone has the cryptocurrency, please raise your hand. Okay, fine. So no one's going to report it to any tax authority. So that's fine. So yeah, so just to share a perspective, around 20% of the people, at least physically attending, do own cryptocurrencies. And as I said, there are no tax authorities present over, so it's fine. No one's going to share that information. And probably you can continue to hold it. But be an honest tax-paying citizen. आपको तो पता ही है 30% tax लगा है and no set off. So why? Let's understand. Why did the government decide no tax set off? No set off of losses. Why? Any answers over here? Why did the government think that loss को set off नहीं करने देंगे हम? Dissuade people from investing. Good. One. What if the value of one cryptocurrency becomes zero? Then you'll try to not to promote speculation. Yes, good one. Any other reasons why do you think government decided not to do it? See, now I'll tell you, because we're chartered accountants. Okay, only and only because we're chartered accountants. बाकी किसी audience के साथ में discuss भी नहीं करता. Okay, because we're chartered accountants and because we have a lot of knowledge. Not necessarily anyone actively does it, but because we have knowledge. When we talk about capital gains, buy and sell shares, short term, long term. Short term में कई लोगों को profit होता है. In the last 1 year, if you had invested 2 years ago in shares of, let's say, HDFC, it has already doubled. It was 700, 800, went up to 14, 1500 or 1600. You already have doubled your money. Now you have to pay tax if you sell. Everyone has to pay tax. But then there are some people who come up with innovative ideas. Sir, loss को थोड़ा adjust करना है तो I'm not saying any one of us do it, but this is what I've heard. Sir, why don't you buy shares of this one company? There are certain people in the market who do it. Buy shares of one company, which is a penny stock. Buy it at 100 rupees, it'll go down to 1 rupee. Okay, you buy those, book a loss, and whatever is the loss will be returned in cash. ठीक है, ऐसा होता है मार्केट में, ऐसा मैंने सुना है, शायद आपने भी सुना हो. I'm not saying किसी ने किया या नहीं किया, but ऐसा होता है. और ऐसे loss, so this is what it is called. It is called as taking a loss in your books. Okay, so that you don't have to pay tax liability, and for which there are certain agents or there are certain brokers who purposely do it actively, and they charge you a commission on that. 2%, 3%, 4%, 6%. I don't know how much is it, but I'm just giving a random figure. So अगर आपका 15% लॉस अगर बच रहा है, 15% टैक्स बच रहा है, तो कितना दोगे? That is how talks happen for people who want to indulge into these kind of practices. I can see a lot of people smiling, that's fine. But having said that, now this is happening in a regulated environment. SEBI controlled, registered exchanges, companies listed, and still this is happening. Now imagine if there is not a SEBI registered exchange, if it is not regulated by SEC or SEBI or RBI. So for example, अगर ऐसा ही कोई broker, ऐसा ही कोई agent, ऐसा ही कोई innovative mind बोलता है कि cryptocurrency में see everyone has made how much profit? 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores, 10 crores, 100 crores, whatever. Why don't you buy this one particular coin? We will launch this coin at $1 and we'll take it down to 0.01 cents. Okay. आप जितना भी पैसा उसमें officially डालोगे as your purchase price, you can show it, right? You can show it as a purchase price. We will take it down from $1 to 1 cent and then you sell it. Whatever is the difference, you will get it in cash. Now set off your short-term profits from trading of cryptocurrencies against short-term losses of trading from cryptocurrencies. Set it off, don't pay taxes to anyone. Is that possible? Very much possible. And cryptocurrency is an unregulated environment. You don't even know who's bringing the price down. You don't even know who's buying it. You cannot even ascertain the identity of the person buying. At least in shares, if there is circular trading, SEBI pulls up those people. Income tax pulls up those people. Okay, you have done circular trading, you have done penny stock trading, income will be added. It is an unexplained investment. What control will the government have if someone gets innovative in their thought process? I'm not giving ideas, but I'm just saying what if someone does. बाकी जितने लोग smart है वो समझ जाएंगे. So that is the reason why the government of India decided not to allow set off of losses. Now, there is always the other side of the coin as well. So in media, in mainstream media, okay, I'm not even talking about some small local newspaper जिसका circulation 5-10,000 copy का है monthly. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about mainstream media, news agencies, news channels, the best of the best financial magazines and financial newspapers. Okay, a lot of lobbying was done to create a narrative that it will kill the industry, the crypto industry in India. पढ़िए आप न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल्स पढ़िए, आपको पता चलेगा कौन कितने पानी में. There are agencies which have taken contracts to do it. Now don't ask me for the sources. As I said, I have knowledge about a lot of things, but I cannot speak a lot of things because of certain issues. वरना पता चला कि मुझे CA छोड़ के lawyer बनना पड़ेगा just to defend myself. So as far as creating of a false narrative, I say it's a false narrative. If you are making profit, why should you not pay tax? Okay, you and I make money either as salary, either as professional income, or whatever the case is, right? We pay our taxes, don't we? Similarly, anyone and everyone who makes money, they have to pay taxes. To tax, as our honorable finance minister said, is a sovereign right. It is the right of the nation to tax any person who's making money. अगर आपको एतराज है, आप कहीं और चले जाइए ना, मतलब who's stopping you? Who's stopping anyone? And the good part is that we live in a democracy. If you do not agree with something, you can actively say you don't agree to it. You can, in India, you're allowed to create false narratives. You can buy paid PR. You can do a lot of things. You can ask people to even raise questions in the Rajya Sabha. मतलब ऐसा हो रहा है, आप देखिए look at the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. What kind of questions are being asked as far as crypto is concerned? And when one of the honorable MPs, I will not name him or her, she started raising a lot of questions about crypto, that the government should bite the bullet or dodge the bullet. Okay, this was a very famous thing which became viral in the last 3 days. So somebody asked her that, honorable MP, do you hold cryptos? Now, दुविधा में है. हाँ बोले तो हाथ कटेगा, ना बोलेगा तो नाक कटेगी. Because the person was in public life and in public service, they have to give affidavits of their holdings, right? So probably that person had not disclosed crypto, even if he or she had or didn't have. So said, I do not have any form of cryptos. But then why are you raising these things for some other person? Is my question. Of course, we're in a democracy, as I said, this is the freedom that you have. This is the freedom that you enjoy in a country like this, where you can abuse the sitting government, you can abuse the policies of the government, you can do what you want to, because we're a democracy. So now for that, pay 30%. If in case if you do not want to pay 30%, go to a jurisdiction where you don't have freedom of speech, where you don't have democracy, and pay 0% tax. There are countries which have 0% tax. आप जाइए उधर, वहां के रूलर्स को आप कभी अब्यूज करके देखिए, ऑनलाइन देखिए आपकी क्या हालत होती है. So if you have freedom of democracy and freedom of speech, pay taxes if you really want to live in India. And in case if you do not agree to it, just shift to another jurisdiction. It's as easy as that. 1st April आ रहा है अभी. Advise your clients, just go to some other jurisdiction. Why question the policy in such a manner? So having said that, I think I deviated it a little bit because, as I said, I have a lot of knowledge about what is happening behind the scenes as well. What you see in media, okay? What you see in media, okay? Do not take everything to be true. Don't take everything to be true. We are smart enough to understand what is happening. A lot of things can be manipulated. Media could be manipulative. I'm being very cautious with the words that I'm using. Media could be manipulative in a lot of matters. And if you think that by introducing something called as a crypto tax, so the narrative that was created was crypto tax will kill the crypto community. That's the narrative on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and all social media platforms. It will kill creativity. It will lead to brain drain. लोग हमारा देश छोड़ के चले जाएंगे. So I floated a poll on social media. Do you think the crypto community will shift out of India? 70% of the respondents said no, we will not shift. Then I floated another poll last 7 days ki baat hai. You can check in on my Twitter, on my LinkedIn, on my Instagram, and everywhere. I asked another poll that what do you prefer? Freedom of speech or 30% tax? So most of the respondents said that we prefer freedom of speech. Sorry. My question was, do you prefer freedom of speech or 0% tax? So most people selected 0% tax. So just go out of the country. How difficult is it? Just go to any country which is not taxing cryptos. That solves the matter. Itna halla karne ki kya zarurat hai? But why is this narrative being created? Let's understand that. There are so-called self-assumed, self-proclaimed, and self-regulated crypto exchanges. These exchanges are making a lot of money. If the crypto users stop dealing in cryptos, तो वो कहाँ जाएंगे? So that will explain to you who's funding these kind of narratives. Without naming any one exchange, but generally आप इनकी ads YouTube पे देखते हो हर वीडियो के बाद. If you're on Instagram, every 4th or 5th ad that you will see will be related to crypto. अगर आप Facebook पे कुछ surf कर रहे हो, तो आपको घड़ी-घड़ी crypto related ads आएगी. There is an entire community of people. Okay, they're influencers, right? So they have a mass fan following. Yeah, there are influencers, yes. So they have mass fan following. They will tell you, friends, एक बहुत अच्छा क्रिप्टो आया मार्केट में, मैंने अपना खुद का पैसा उसमें डाला है, आप मेरा कोड इस्तेमाल कीजिए और वो क्रिप्टो खरीदिए, आपको 100 रुपया फ्री मिलेगा. ठीक है, just to take that 100 rupees free worth of crypto, people end up putting thousands and thousands of rupees behind that. So in crypto, giving a statistic, in crypto, this statistic was issued by the Interpol. Okay? Interpol has its regional headquarters in Singapore, and they published a report which said that 82% of all cryptos that are there in the market were found to be scams after 6 months of issuance. 82%. Okay, so if any of your clients come to you and ask you this question, कि कोई अच्छी टिप दीजिए ना क्रिप्टो की, किसमें डालना चाहिए, क्या लगता है? स्टॉक्स के लिए तो फिर भी लोग पूछते हैं, क्या लगता है रिलायंस का, क्या लगता है HDFC में डालना चाहिए पैसा, कौन सा अच्छा नया स्क्रिप्ट है, depending on each one's risk appetite. Okay, so people may ask for recommendations. Whether we recommend or we don't recommend, that's a personal choice. But similarly, now in future, people will ask, कौन सा क्रिप्टो अच्छा लग रहा है लेने के लिए? Okay, so always give them this one statistic. Interpol का, it's not my statistic. Interpol said that 82% of them were found to be scams. So if anyone would ask me, I generally say, see, 82% of them are scams. If you think you fall in the remaining 18%, if this crypto falls in the remaining 18%, डाल दो, आपका पैसा है. Who am I to tell you whether you should or you should not? So having said that, let's move forward. Let's come to the main point. Can you start your own crypto or not? Okay, so the answer to that is a complete yes. Each one can start his or her own crypto. Now, whether you start it in India, whether you start it in some other country, or whether you start it in something called as a virtual universe or the metaverse. Okay, everyone can start their own cryptocurrency. Matlab, as I said, it is decentralization of power, right? You don't have to go to any authority to say, can I start? So how do you start? I'll tell you the sequence of events that I have observed in this country or even worldwide for that matter. The sequence of events is there is some kind of an idea which a person has. Okay, let's solve this problem. Not that idea has to be unique or genuine. You just have to have an idea that who can you get in to buy. मतलब डब्बे में किसको उतार सकते हो? Okay, so it all starts with an idea. You try to see if there is any problem. Then you create a white paper. White paper is like DRHP, draft red herring prospectus, जो हम बोलते हैं ना फाइनेंशियल लैंग्वेज में. कोई भी IPO के पहले आप पूरा एनालिसिस दोगे उसमें. See, we think it is this. कंपनी का स्कोप इतना है, ऑर्डर्स एंड इतने हैं. These are regulatory issues which it faces. IRCTC का DRHP के बहुत चर्चे हुए थे when government decided to allow other people to do catering. So what is a scope? What is उसमें एक SWOT analysis भी आता है that these are the threats to the company, these are the opportunities for the company. तो जिस तरह से DRHP होता है उसी तरह से एक white paper होता है. White paper, there are a lot of large consulting firms, some of them could also be the big four in other countries, which issue the white paper on behalf of the particular currency. I have seen that, that's why I'm saying. It's not that I want to target any of the big four. They charge $100,000, 75 lakh rupees, unka stamp mark ke de dete wo log. Okay, we think it is this and this, and that is why people should invest in this cryptocurrency. So anyone can issue their own white paper. Not necessarily it has to be from one of the large firms across the world. Anyone can issue. So you have to show that there is a problem, there is a solution, and you are the solution. Okay, and you will revolutionize the technology that is going to solve the problem, is what you have to claim. Okay, whether you do it or you don't do it, that's only a matter of time. But at least you have to claim that. Once a white paper is issued, after that, people go out and meet crypto influencers or the crypto community as they call. So a lot of emphasis is given on crypto community. कौन है उस community में? कोई किसी को जानता नहीं है, but हाँ, crypto community होती है. So you go to the crypto community, reach out to them and tell them that this is how my coin price is going to increase. So please subscribe to my coin. If they like it, they tell their own fan followers. Then people start buying in. Once people start buying in, then it's pure demand and supply. But the question is, who issued it? Seller कौन था मतलब? कोई बेच रहा है तो ही कोई खरीद रहा है ना. So who was the first buyer of that cryptocurrency? And at that time, who was the one who was selling? So the one who created the currency was the one who was selling. But what did he do to get that right to sell currency? Absolutely nothing. White paper, वो उसका आधार है. If you ask that on what basis? So on basis of a white paper, people start creating the currencies and they start selling. Now, in order to sell something, you have to create something. How do you create? And that is called as mining, what you see on the screen. So when we talk about mining of cryptocurrencies, mining is a process. It's very similar to the Indian mine, the normal real life mining that we do. Okay. At some place where mining happens, there is gold, there are diamonds, there's bauxite, aluminum, silver, copper, and multiple other precious metals. So India में अगर कोई coal की mine है, India has a lot of coal deposits. So if there is a coal mine, okay, who's the owner of the mine? उस mine का owner कौन है? मतलब किसने produce किया वो coal अंदर जो पड़ा है? No one, right? No one produced it. It is already there. So who can mine? Someone who gets a license from the government? Okay, fine. So this is your mine. Whatever you get from here is yours, for which you may have to pay a license fee, you may have to pay royalty, or you may have to pay some charges. So just the way the person who's mining coal he has not produced the coal. He is only mining something from the ground, which is not produced by him, but he's entitled to the benefits of it. He can sell it to anyone. He can use it for generating electricity. He can sell it to any person across the world. Similarly, the one who's mining digital currency or cryptocurrency, okay, he's not created it. It's just a software code. It's a smart contract which has to be deployed on a blockchain. Smart contract, as I told you, आपको एक कोड लिखना है, उसमें लिखना है कि आपकी टोटल क्वांटिटी कितनी रहेगी, कितने कॉइन्स रहेंगे आपके. So you have to define the total quantity in circulation. For example, if you and I decide to float a cryptocurrency, we come out with a white paper and then we mine 1 billion coins, 100 crore. 1 billion coins we've issued and we decide the price. Meri currency, mera price. I will peg it at 10 rupees per coin, just like equity shares of 10 rupees per share. So mining is done in that way for new currencies. However, so these are currencies which are now coming into existence. However, there are some absolutely decentralized currencies such as Bitcoin. So when we talk about Bitcoin mining, who's the one who's mining? Anyone who uses their computer resources, anyone who uses their software, anyone who uses their own electricity to run those computer resources, because they are putting in efforts to keep an entire network alive. Network क्या बोलता है कि whoever takes care of me, I will give them something called as a Bitcoin. Initially, there was only hypothetically एक example देता हूँ समझाने के लिए mining क्या होता है. Let's assume that there is one particular blockchain. That blockchain says, new blockchain, which says that for every 1 hour of mining operation that is done, or every 1,000 transactions which are mined, every 1,000 transactions which are processed in my blockchain, I will give 1 coin. 1,000 transactions, 1 coin. So initially, अगर मेरी cryptocurrency है तो मैं ही खुद mine करता रहूँगा. I will keep on processing 1,000 transactions, or I will keep on processing number of days. So it can be decide how we want to mine. So if I keep my server on for 24 hours, and if I process 1,000 transactions, I am entitled to 1 coin. That could be Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. आपको example दे रहा हूँ. Starting में तो मैं अकेला कर रहा हूँ. So for every 1 hour, I will get 1 coin. I'll keep on accumulating it. But then I come to you and I say, okay, see, there's a good proposition. Every time you keep the server on for 24 hours, you get 1 Bitcoin. But now we are 2 of us. So both will get half a Bitcoin, half a coin. 0.5 coins will come to me and 0.5 coins will go to you. Or load बढ़ गया, or transactions होने लगे. So 2 of us decide to go to 2 other people. And we say, okay, let's do this because मेरे computer से load handle नहीं हो रहा. Okay, I need more people to join it. So now there are 4 people. So each one of us will get 0.25 coins per day, per hour, or per hour for processing transaction. Now the total load of transactions increased even more. So now we need 10 people to do mining. Mining means processing of transactions. A very simple word for explaining that. So now there are 10 people, but the smart contract has defined for every 1 hour of processing transactions, you will get 1 coin. So if there are 10 people, वो बढ़ जाएगा 10 लोगों में. 10 के अगर 1000 हो गए तो 0.001 आएगा. 1000 के 10 लाख हो गए तो आपको 0.00001 आएगा. So on and so forth. So the rule is set by the smart contract that if X amount of activity is done in a decentralized manner, whoever is taking care of the system will get rewarded in coins. So people, I know those people that I'm talking about. Some people had done mining at a very early stage in 2009-10. Okay, they got 1 Bitcoin each for running those algorithms. And you know what did that person actually encash it for? At that time only. So there was this one particular website which was selling slippers. So you could pay 1 Bitcoin and get 1 pair of slippers. So he sold his 1 Bitcoin for 1 pair of slippers. Like imagine had he held that Bitcoin till today. So I told him, just frame it and keep it as a moment. Don't throw away your slippers now. So this is how mining happens. And there are a lot of scams in mining also. A lot of scams. So some people will come up with a story. See, mining requires computers. Computers require servers. Servers require air conditioning. India में तो already temperature इतना high है तो air conditioning cost कितना ज़्यादा आएगा. Hence, we will do mining or we will do this processing in Iceland, in Ireland, in Finland, in Estonia. In other countries where the temperature itself is low, तो आपका air conditioning का cost बच जाता है. ऐसी लोग कहानी आपको सुनाएंगे. ठीक है? So book 1 computer in that. So they'll say that we have a huge facility, 1,000 computers. You book only 1 computer like a mutual fund. छोटा invest करो हमारी scheme में. Okay, and whatever are the profits from that, 50% will come to you. So I asked someone that what is the profit that you give? So they said we make 12% per month. We are happy to share 6% per month with you. So I said, okay, fine. 6% per month seems too good to be true. And generally, if it is too good to be true, it is actually not true. Okay, so I said 6% per month. Okay. So I knew all of these are scams, so I never invested money in that. But then there was some friend of mine who thought that this is a very good scheme. So he put his money. And then if they get other people on board, which was supposedly supposed to be me by my friend. So when they get other people on board, they get a 25% referral commission. So you give us 2 lakh rupees and we block one computer for you. And every month we give you 6% on that. India में FD में साल का 6% नहीं मिलता अच्छी बैंक में. So there are such schemes which will happen, which will come. And eventually that friend of mine, he lost his entire 2 lakh rupees, whatever he had blocked, and he got scammed. So in mining, there are a lot of scams, but how to mine if someone wants to mine? So if you want to run a decentralized platform and you want to do mining, there is a special hardware which comes, which has extremely good processing capacity and which will do the mining. A lot of mining happens across the world, not necessarily much in India, because in India, anyways, the electricity costs are quite high and there is no clarity. There's no legal, there's a lot of legal ambiguity, whether it is a legal activity or illegal activity. So mining happens in other countries and people have made money, but whether to enter at this stage or not, I think is what one has to decide for himself or herself. Now, when we come to NFTs, there is a lot of, what are NFTs? NFTs are non-fungible tokens. Now, what are non-fungible tokens? They are a type of a digital art. NFTs have been in place for, I think, last 3 years or so, but it got a lot of attention last year. One artist called as Beeple, he sold his NFT for $69 million. Now, what was that art? He's an artist. He makes one digital art every day. He made that for 5,000 days consecutively. That was the level of consistency. Then he made a collage of all those 5,000 pictures together and he sold it to someone. The person who bought it, his name is Mita Cohen. He's a person of Indian origin living in Singapore, doesn't own any asset in the real world, but has a lot of assets in the digital world. And I don't think he's going to come back to India ever because of the laws or legal ambiguity that looms over it. So Mita Cohen bought it for $69 million and that created a lot of headlines across the world that how can something that is digital, मतलब आपको उसकी वो मतलब अगर आप किसी MF Hussain sir की painting लेते हो तो आपको painting तो मिलती है, at least you get that painting in your hand. But this is just a digital art. It's just an image that you have got, and now it is said that you are the owner of that image. But can others copy it? Yes, others can copy it. But who's the owner of it? You are the owner of it. For example, if anyone goes to a museum, let's say a person goes to watch the Mona Lisa in Paris. Okay, you can go over there. You can take a picture. You can stand next to it and even take a selfie. But does that mean that you are the owner of the picture? No. So people can copy digital art as much as they want to. Okay, but they are not the rightful owners of it. So NFTs are a solution to ownership of digital art. ठीक है, आप कोई भी song YouTube पे देख लीजिए, उसका ये मतलब थोड़ी हो कि आप उसके owner हो. Ultimately, whatever are the ad collections that come will go to the owner of that music. For example, if it's T series, the money goes to T series. Similarly, NFTs are digital art which verifies ownership and which verifies the benefits that the owner gets out of it. When we talk about NFTs in the Indian market, there are celebrities who are selling their own NFTs. We have sports persons which are going to come up with their own NFTs. ICC has already struck a deal for selling of their NFTs. For example, Dhoni hitting a 6 on the last ball to win the World Cup for India. The rights, the digital rights of that belong to ICC. Okay? So when ICC is the owner of that, and if you want to become the owner of that, you have to bid for it. Whenever that happens, I don't know when is it going to happen, but ICC has cracked the deal. BCCI, from sources and from the information that I have, BCCI is also in the process to strike a deal for IPL and for the rights that BCCI has. So digital art will have value in future. It could have value. It depends on who the artist is. Tomorrow, if any random person scribbles something and puts it up for sale without knowing who the person is, do you think anyone's going to buy it? Probably not. Probably not. But if you come to know that the person who had scribbled and had put it up on the road for auction was MF Hussain, would you buy it? Probably a lot of people would buy it. So value of the art comes from the artist, not necessarily just the art. So NFTs are something which are digital art, it may have value depending on who is the creator of that art. When we talk about NFTs and when we talk about digital assets, do these digital assets come with real life benefits? So I will give you an example. A couple of months ago, there's something called as a bored ape. Bored ape करके एक monkey का photo है, digital photo है. That monkey is at times drinking some beer, at times he's smoking some cigarette, at times he's just putting one hand up, at times he's jumping off something, at times he is sleeping. Okay, so that bored ape is a particular animated character. If you own that NFT, okay, you are the owner of the NFT. People can copy your picture, that's fine. But then what happened is that there was rarity, that every month there will only be one NFT which is sold, or every month there will only be 100 NFTs which will be sold. So depending on the rarity and depending on the artist, as I said, the emphasis is on the artist. It's not just on the art. एक monkey का picture लेके करोगे क्या? So then they came up with real world benefits attached to that NFT. The real world benefit was that you could attend their parties. Okay, so if you are the owner of an NFT, you can go to the yacht club and you can attend parties of that particular creator. So if you want to go in that party, you need to have an NFT. Now anyone with the NFT can go for the party. So then people started bidding. किसी ने $2000 में लिया, तो उसको बहुत अच्छा मिल गया. Then he wanted to sell. The part जब party की date नजदीक आती है, तो उसका price बढ़ जाता है. So then people would re-auction for that and resell it. So then somebody would bid $10,000, somebody would bid $15,000, someone would bid even $200,000, depending on each person's need. So then it's pure market supply, demand and supply. So NFTs can have value depending on the creator of the NFT. And of course, India is always lagging behind in art. So let alone digital art. मतलब India में art की उतनी value नहीं है जितनी world over है. Even Indian artists sell their auction their paintings abroad in UK and in US. So this is about NFTs. Now, when we talk about NFTs, so there are real world benefits and you can always resell it. NFTs can also be programmed in a manner, उसके साथ भी एक smart contract आता है. NFTs can be programmed in a manner where every subsequent sale, the original owner gets a 5% royalty, gets a 10% royalty, gets a 20% royalty. So NFTs can be designed in a manner where the original creator keeps making money. Now that may not necessarily be possible with physical art and real world art. So NFTs will definitely help the creator economy. NFTs will definitely help the artists, and NFTs will also help sports persons and celebrities. So if your celebrity is launching his or her NFT, he can possibly say that anyone who is the owner of this NFT on this record date अपनी understanding के लिए बोल रहा हूँ, जिस तरह से dividend की record date होती है, उस तरह से NFT की एक record date हो सकती है. If on 31st March 2022, anyone who holds this NFT can come and meet me in person for 10 minutes. So now anyone who wants to meet that superstar or that celebrity or that sports person will bid for that. If that person is getting a very good profit, he may even sell it. Okay, so ultimately it's about attaching the NFT with some real world benefits. And if creators understand that, and the faster they understand that, they'll be able to make it in a matured economy. Now let's come to trading. As far as trading is concerned, in India, there are certain exchanges. As I said, they are self-proclaimed, self-assumed, and self-regulated. And they are so-called exchanges, okay? Exchange naam samajh ke aise mat chale jana ki kuch problem hogi, you will file a complaint with SEBI and SEBI will intervene. It's not going to happen. Now, there are security issues, which I've already explained. Billions of dollars are getting siphoned off. There are a lot of privacy issues on Indian exchanges, because all the accounts have to be linked with Aadhaar card and PAN card, and KYC has to be verified. If it is not verified, they will block the account and you will not be able to withdraw your money. On these Indian exchanges, there's a lot, they're not very transparent. Okay, so you will not know what is the exact charge. So charges vary from 0.25% up to 7% per trade. Now you will never know what is the amount of brokerage that you've paid, because you will see a buy rate and you will see a sell rate, and that there is always a difference between the buy rate and the sell rate. So as far as India is concerned, there are some exchanges which are little KYC compliant. There are certain exchanges which are not at all KYC compliant. So they say you be absolutely anonymous. You can buy and sell cryptocurrency in cash. आप यहाँ पे इस आदमी को जाके cash दीजिए, वो आपको transfer कर देगा. There are also certain cryptocurrency exchanges which help you to buy and sell cryptocurrencies through a certain payment mechanism called as the Angadya system. I don't know what exactly how they operate, but that is what that is how also they can deal in. So you go to a particular person in a particular city and you deposit 1 crore rupees over there, and you will automatically get cryptocurrency in your wallet. So that is how transactions also take place. The legal status in India, I've already explained about the RBI and the income tax. I will now talk on GST. This is something that no one's talking about. Why is it so? If it is a commodity, if it is a commodity, should GST be levied? If you're buying and selling mobile phones, GST लगता है कि नहीं लगता? लगता है. So are cryptocurrencies a commodity? Most of us over here say no, but we don't know what the government thinks, because they have not clarified on the aspect of GST on purchase and sale of cryptocurrencies. अब तक clarity सिर्फ profits पे आई है. So if it is a currency, if it is treated as a currency, okay, they're in a fix. Why? Yeah, so if GST has to be levied, it cannot be classified as a currency. And if it is classified as a currency, GST cannot be levied. But as we say in India, you can always come out with a notification, a circular, or a clarification, even at a later date or at a subsequent date. Just to share a perspective, the number of circulars, notifications, and clarifications which we get in India only from GST in a year is more than the total VAT Act of UAE. The total VAT Act is only 56 pages. Well, I'm a speaker by the IDT committee of ICI on UAE VAT as well. So people ask me, "Itna knowledge, matlab, how do you get so much time to gain so much knowledge?" I said, "Sir, it's only 56 pages." It would have been an achievement if I was an active speaker on GST in India, because for that I have to understand 6 volumes of a publication of an advocate or of a GST practitioner. 6 volume padhuga. At that time, then I can say probably I'm an expert. But as far as UAE VAT is concerned, it's only 56 pages. Pad lijiye, you'll be a master at it. Now, when we talk about the global outlook, so GST, as I mentioned, GST, there's no clarity on the trading. However, government has already recovered GST on the commission or the brokerage component. So government has already recovered that money from the exchange, that whatever you have made money is a service. And if it is a service, you should have charged 18%. But since you've not charged 18% to your clients, we are recovering it from you. So government has recovered 18% on the component of income or the service. Other part, when NFTs are sold, should there be GST on it or not? Yes? No? Maybe? A lot of people are saying yes. So let's assume we are supporting whatever the government is doing. So it's good. Kharidne do ki jisko kharidna hai. Government is making 18% out of it. So again, in the newspapers, you would have read in the last 1 week itself that Mr. Bachchan sold his NFT for some around 7 crore rupees, and some 1 crore 9 lakh rupees was recovered as GST on that. But the question is, how do you know who's the buyer and who's the seller? Here we knew who the buyer was and who the seller was, because the transaction took place in India and the transaction took place in Indian currency. But when we talk about NFTs on a global platform, the identity or the geographical location of the buyer is not known. Seller ka shayad you may know, because he's an Indian superstar. So you may know that the Indian superstar is located in India. So, but if the platform on which he's selling is an international platform registered in some other country, most of these platforms are registered in the Caribbean islands or such countries where this is a legal activity, where it is a permissible activity. I'll give you certain examples. Generally, people register in British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. People registered in Curaçao Island. People registered in Estonia. People registered in Ethiopia. So these are the countries where people register their cryptocurrencies. People register the foundations of the cryptocurrencies. People register the companies which will issue cryptocurrencies. So all of these are outside India. So if a platform or a company is registered outside India and an Indian superstar is selling a cryptocurrency via that platform, is it taxable in India? What is the place of supply? Place of supply is outside India. And if the place of supply is outside India and the currency and the transaction is happening in cryptocurrency and not in Indian currency, not in rupees, nor in dollars, can that be deemed to be an export of service? Why so? Yes or no? If yes, why? If no, why? Foreign exchange is not coming in India. Okay, that's one. So again, the government does not have knowledge about it. Government does not know what should they do with it. They're still collecting information. So if a transaction is structured in a particular manner in which it can be proven that the place of supply is outside India, place of supply is not in India, and the transaction is not happening in Indian currency, and the geographical location of the buyer is not known, in that case, it can be deemed to be an export of service. And export of services can be done under LUT without payment of IGST. So this is a liberal view which most of the people in India have taken. As I said, because this is the platform of the institute, you can ask for this and I will give you information for absolutely complimentary over here. The moment we step out of the building and you ask the same question to me, you would probably get a bill at the end of the conversation. So having said that, this is a view which a lot of people have taken. And now coming to the other aspects about the global outlook. What is the global outlook? What is happening across the world? वो भी तो समझते हैं. So China has said none of its citizens or residents can buy, sell, trade, deal, or otherwise possess any form of cryptocurrency. उनका फंडा एकदम clear है. Nothing to do with cryptocurrency. So things are either black or white over there. Okay, it's not in the gray area. When we come to the EU has taxed it. EU has its own regulations. The exchanges have to comply with certain rules and regulations. The buyers and sellers have to comply with certain rules and regulations. KYC has to be done, and they have to pay taxes on whatever transactions they do. When we come to some of the Gulf countries, they say that you can buy and sell, but in a particular limit. Hypothetically, $2,000 per week is what you can sell. Hypothetically, if you want to trade higher, you kindly justify why you need to trade higher. So udhar thode rules and regulations are. In the Gulf countries, they have clarified that in certain Gulf countries, they do not have any personal taxation. So whatever profits you make, you can keep them with yourself. In countries like Singapore, exchanges, cryptocurrency exchanges are regulated, are registered. Trading of cryptocurrencies is regulated and it is allowed. Taxation on cryptocurrencies, there is certainty. In Singapore, you can also float your own cryptocurrency. That is allowed. So you register your currency over there and float it, mine it on the servers in Singapore, and you can easily be a regulated cryptocurrency in Singapore. Then we come to the Caribbean islands. I gave you 4 or 5 examples. There, the only criteria is that you should have a license. And the criteria to have a license is that you have to pay. There is no third criteria. So in the Caribbean islands, issuing cryptocurrency is legal, trading in cryptocurrencies is legal, booking profits or losses in cryptocurrencies is legal. Selling cryptocurrencies to others is also legal. So those are legal according to their jurisdiction. It is a legal activity. There is nothing illegal about it. And as far as India is concerned, India has neither legalized it nor illegalized it. Another classic example that I will give over here, we will try to wind up in the next 10 minutes or so. So another classic example that I will give over here is that if a person consumes weed or marijuana in India, it is an illegal activity because it is termed as illegal by way of a law, which is the NDPS Act, Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. It says that this is an illegal substance, cannot be consumed, cannot be bought, sold, traded, or produced. When you consume, when a person consumes the same substance, which is weed or marijuana, in the state of California in US, it is a legal activity. You can go into a store, a marijuana store, you can pay money over the counter, you can buy weed, and you can consume it. Because the state of California, the law in the state of California has legalized smoking of weed. So when it comes to India, India has neither legalized it nor illegalized it. Some countries like China, as I said, they're clear on the law that it is illegal. Some countries like US and UK, they have made it legal. But India says that India has remained quiet, and they have not, as in we have not even thought about whether it is a legal activity or illegal activity. Why I say this is, on the day when 30% tax was announced, the same crypto community started celebrating like there's no tomorrow. Crypto is legal, crypto is legal, crypto is legal. उड़ते उड़ते ये paid PR campaigns के through बात honorable finance minister तक पहुंची. So on the same day in the evening, when she gave an interview to most of the large media houses, she clarified that taxing crypto transactions is my sovereign right as a nation. That does not mean that they have legalized it. So then the presenter or the moderator even asked her that, madam, you're taxing 30%, but you're not telling whether it's legal or illegal. She said, legal or illegal is what a law defines. Taxing is my right. So hence I'm taxing it. And on the issue of legality, there will be public consultation. There will be inputs taken from various stakeholders on this matter, and then a law will be framed. So she made it abundantly clear that taxing does not make it legal. So this is where India stands. And of course, there's a lot of misuse of cryptocurrency, misuse of technology. Again, just to share a perspective, 97% of the transactions that take place on the dark web is where all illegal activities happen. Human trade, drugs, arms and ammunition, kidnapping, ransom, hacking, all these things are discussed in groups on the dark web. All of the internet that we know, okay, whatever is known to us as the internet is only 3%. What is not known to us is 97%. Whatever internet we think of and we can imagine, put that on one corner, that is only 3%. What we don't know or what we have not heard of, that has 97% transactions, and that is called as the dark web. How do you get into the dark web? As I always say, if you don't know how to get out of it, don't get into it. To enter dark web, again, just for knowledge purpose, you cannot use Google Chrome or Microsoft Internet Explorer or any other normal browsers. There are special browsers for it. Using those special browsers, I'll give the name, it's called as a Tor browser, Tor project, T-O-R. You have to use a special browser to enter the dark web. And after entering the dark web, there are multiple things which are available over there. आपको कौन सी गलत चीज करनी है? Okay, and a lot of scams also happen over there, right? मतलब चोर के घर पे भी चोरी होती है, और अगर आप चोर बाजार में चले जाओ तो वहां पे आपके पॉकेट की भी चोरी हो सकती है. It's like that. So on the dark web, you can get scammed. Most people who are not aware about dealings on dark web will get scammed. So do not enter that if you don't know how to get out of it. So 97% of the transactions that take place on the dark web are only and only in cryptocurrency. So this is the misuse of technology. 100% of the hacking that happens right now, payment for that to release your data is in cryptocurrency. 100%. No hackers will now demand कि अरे भाई आप एक 2 करोड़ रुपया लेके एक बैग में unserialized notes लेके यहाँ पे आके फेंक देना. It doesn't happen that way. Kidnappings don't happen with fiat currency anymore. People who get kidnapped, they have to transfer cryptocurrency. So this is the misuse of technology. Practical issues in trading. Privacy is not maintained. As I said, on Indian exchanges, privacy is not maintained. And of course, then there are certain anonymous exchanges in India and globally where privacy can be maintained, but they're absolutely illegal. Charges are not transparent. As I mentioned, 0.25% to 7% is a range where you will get charged per transaction. Limited options to swap your currency. For example, आपने किसी के MLM scheme के through किसी की cryptocurrency खरीद ली. Okay, but now you don't know how to convert it into other currency because it is not getting traded anywhere. Then what will you do? So that's a practical problem. A lot of people face this. People say that put 1 lakh rupees with us, we will give you cryptocurrency. We will give you 2% interest per day. 1% interest per day. But my interest will come in my currency. So 1 lakh rupees gets blocked, plus the interest that you get on a daily basis also gets blocked. And at the end of 1 year, the person, the interest and the principal, all three will go away. So there are a lot of scams that happen that way. In certain exchanges, the payout and the pay-in can happen only in certain currencies. For example, through these so-called self-regulated, self-assumed exchanges in India, it is only through Indian rupee. But in other countries, you can load money in multiple currencies: dollar, pound, yen, rupee, or euro, or whatever. In India, it must be routed through bank only. So in India, legally, I won't say legally, but at least it's not illegally. In India, it can be loaded only through banks. However, I have also mentioned that how there is a parallel economy through which also a person can buy cryptocurrency. In some countries, there are Bitcoin ATM machines. Okay, this is interesting to understand. Which means you go to the ATM, you go to that Bitcoin ATM machine, you load your euros in that machine. You will get crypto in your wallet. Now you're in need of euros. You go to that machine, you sell your Bitcoin and you will get euros out of the machine. Somebody tried to do that in Bangalore in India, but the government seized the machine at the port of entry only. मतलब जैसे customs को पता चला कि ऐसे Bitcoin ATM machine आ रहा है तो उधर ही seize कर लिया उसको. A lot of people get notices from the IT department because now it's quite obvious, right? We understand this. The moment you link your PAN card and or Aadhaar card with your account on the so-called self-regulated, self-assumed exchanges, and that data is shared with the government of India, so automatically people will start getting notices. And apart from that, there's a 30% flat tax in India and a 1% TDS. I will not elaborate more on that because we are chartered accountants. I get as I mentioned, a lot of people ask me, "Kisme dalna chahiye paisa?" Which is a good tip in cryptocurrency. And then people say, "Chota hi dalenge, zyada nahi dalenge, but whatever we can afford to lose, that only we want to put." So I never give an absolute answer, but I always give it with a lot of riders. First thing that I tell people, and what you should also tell people, is teach a person how to make bread. Don't just give the bread. Okay, so if you give a bread to a person, he will eat only for one day. But if you teach him how to make bread, he will feed his entire family and himself for a lifetime. So this is what I learned it. So these are the things. This example is something that I learned from a very large equity analyst. Somebody asked him, "Sir, koi tip do na?" So this was the answer that he gave. So I try to adapt the advice that he gave to us on the other day in the crypto format. So the first thing that you should know is, what is the total mined quantity? Feel free to take a picture or a snapshot of this. If nothing else, you'll save a couple of thousand rupees or a couple of lakh rupees for yourself. So first and foremost, understand what is the total mined quantity. Mined quantity is like the total paid up capital. Total circulation में है कितने share? People ask, total paid up कितनी है इस company की? उस तरह से, what is the total mined quantity? 1 billion coins, 2 billion coins, 100 billion coins, कितनी? What is the maximum quantity that can be mined? For example, in Bitcoin, there are only 21 lakh new Bitcoins which can be mined. उसके बाद Bitcoin mining बंद हो जाएगा. So similarly, just the way, can the authorized capital be increased? In the financial equity market, we ask, can the authorized capital be increased? Similarly, over here, can the total circulation be increased? मतलब, is mining a continuous process? क्या एक 1 billion coins पे stop हो जाएगा? So that you need to understand. So that will help you to understand that what is the denominator. मतलब total कितने coins issue हो सकते हैं. Second, the third thing that you need to understand is who are the promoters, because that's a very important part of any crypto story. If the promoters have a good track record, whether the promoters have a bad track record, have the promoters scanned some other people in some other part of the world before coming to you? Have they done some really good projects which have actually solved real world life problems or not? Third, understand whether it is a business or whether it is just a currency. I'll give you an example of business and currency. Ripple is one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies in the world. Ripple, the symbol is XRP. Ripple is a corporation registered in USA. Ripple has its own blockchain. Ripple says that I can transfer money just the way the Swift network does from one country to another country in less than 20 seconds and at a cost of less than 20 cents. This is what Ripple claims. So Ripple is a business, whereas Dogecoin, what is Dogecoin? Is it a business? No, I don't think so. It's just a currency. Also understand who are the ones who are trying to promote a particular currency. They may not necessarily call themselves as promoters, but आपको indication आ जाएगा. जैसे कि Dogecoin, there is one entrepreneur who is into electric vehicles. He calls himself self-proclaimed Doge father. Okay. One fine day, if he wakes up, he says, "I'm a Doge father." The price increases 2x. One fine day, he says that I'm selling my coins. The price reduces. One fine day, when he wakes up, he says, "I will sell my electric vehicles for cryptocurrency." The price of Bitcoin shoots up. One fine day, when he wakes up, he says that my company will no longer sell electric vehicles for a cryptocurrency. The price of Bitcoin comes crashing down. So try and understand. I have tried to analyze. There are 10 or 11 people in the world who control the entire crypto market. 10 or 11 major accounts. They create public perception. They create the news. They create the hype. And then when they say something, okay, there are hundreds and thousands of followers who follow them. And then they start saying the same thing. In turn, millions of people start listening to it. And in turn, billions will start accepting it as truth. That's the pyramid structure. 11 people at the top and a billion people at the bottom. That's what the structure is for cryptocurrency. That is my analysis of last 5 years. Only 11 accounts. Only 11 people control the entire crypto market in the world. So understand who are the promoters on the face of it and understand who are the promoters behind the scene. Also, you should check what is the movement in recent months. For example, Bitcoin ka price at one point of time in March 2020, when the lockdown was about to begin, it was $3,500. It reached $65,000, came down to 40, reached 50, came down to 30. Right now it's at 40. So this is a fluctuation that has happened over last 2 years. Now, also understand, can it easily be traded in a country? As I said, a lot of these cryptocurrencies don't get listed on exchanges in which you can deal in your country. India has 5-6 major exchanges for which you generally would have seen full page newspaper advertisements. So those are the, they don't list each and every cryptocurrency on their platform. So if you're buying a particular cryptocurrency, see whether आप उसको बेच कैसे सकते हो और किसको बेच सकते हो. Is there a lock-in? Is there not a lock-in? Understand all of those things before you put money in a particular cryptocurrency. And finally, understand, is there a conversion required to purchase? For example, in some currencies, you cannot directly buy in rupees or you cannot directly buy in dollars. You have to buy some other currency, and through that other currency, you can buy the said cryptocurrency. So understand all of these factors before putting in money. And as I always tell people that cryptocurrency investments are subject not only to market and regulatory risk, but also related to entrepreneurial risks who try to influence people on Twitter. There's a new concept which has come up, which is called as an ICO. ICO is something similar to an IPO. IPO may you issue equity or you issue coins. That's the only difference. Has anyone done it in India? An Indian company has done it in Singapore. Drive Easy is one of the best examples that I can ever give to anyone for a cryptocurrency ICO, which is a business and which is not a scam till now. So Drive Easy wanted to raise some money. It was a capital. They wanted to raise capital. They said that we don't want to part with equity. So they went to Singapore, floated a company over there. That company issued Drive Easy coins. Hypothetically, they said that for every one coin that you hold, you can drive my car for 1 hour. So अगर आपको एक दिन के लिए गाड़ी चाहिए तो 24 कॉइन आपको खरीदना है. Buy 24 coins and you can take my car rental for 1 hour, 1 full day. So this was crowdsourcing of funds. People, so Drive Easy said that I'm ready to give you a service if you were to buy some coins. And so now the coins have a value, right? There is some value which can be derived from these coins. There's a new trend which is coming, which is called as asset-backed cryptocurrencies. People will claim, I'm being very cautious with the words. People claim that, sir, we are backed with an asset. Whatever amount of cryptocurrency we get, we back it with real estate or with properties. Okay, so now there are no current cryptocurrencies which are asset-backed, but we will be the first cryptocurrency which is asset-backed. बहुत लोग ऐसा claim करते हैं. So I asked 4 follow-up questions, only 4. I said that, what is the asset that you're giving as backup? Second, who owns that asset as on date? Third, who will control that asset once you've given it as asset backing? And fourth, who decides on the ownership of that asset? So the answer was that asset belongs to us. We made a building, but now we cannot sell it. So we will give it as asset backing. 2, we will only control it. Means we decide whose building mein kaun jayega. Third, I said that if I own 100 square feet or 100 coins, 1 coin was 1 square feet. If I said, if I own just 100 coins, can I enter a building? Can I say कि इतना part मेरा कल से? There's no, you cannot. And fourth, I said that, how do you give a payout to yourself? Fourth, I asked them, how do you give a payout to yourself? They said, see, what will happen is because it is asset back, right? We will rent out the property, and whatever rental comes, that will be distributed as dividend. Whatever profits are left after all expenses, we will distribute it as dividend to all the owners of the cryptocurrencies. जिस तरह shares में होता है, right? HUL makes a lot of money, Infosys makes a lot of money every year. They distribute some part as dividend. Similarly, they said that after all expenses, whatever is left will be distributed as dividend. So I said, who defines the expenses? See, we are taking care of it, right? So first we will draw our salaries from the profit. Whatever is left will be given as dividend. So basically it was filling their pockets at the cost of others. So be careful about these new trends which are coming. They will claim that they are asset backed, but you can neither control it, nor own it, nor enter the building, or nor can you enjoy the earnings of that asset. Foreign listings are happening. I told you in which countries you can do foreign listing. And there are a lot of scams in ICO listings also. And the Interpol report says that 82% are scams. Now, when it comes to advising clients, this is where the professional opportunity comes in for chartered accountants. First and foremost, explain what is the risk involved. Second, explain what is the legality of the issue in India. As on date, it is neither legal nor illegal. Explain what is the outlook in foreign countries. Like in Gulf, in certain countries, you are allowed to hold, trade, buy, sell. but you cannot float a new cryptocurrency over there in some Gulf countries. However, in some Gulf countries, there is no individual taxation. So even if you have capital gains, it's not subjected to tax. Third, always explain that there is a threat from hackers. When you go to sleep, you have $50,000, but when you wake up, you have zero. So that is very much possible. Third, again, after that, explain what are money laundering aspects of this. Does this amount to money laundering? Just asking. Do you think if a person buys cryptocurrency, there could be money laundering? Yes, no, maybe. Possible? Yes. So we unanimously agree that there could be money laundering that happens. Why? You have bought cryptocurrency on a so-called self-regulated, self-assumed exchange in India. With that exchange, you have linked your Aadhaar card, PAN card, but you have transferred it to someone in USA. You have transferred it to someone in Mexico. You have transferred it to someone in China. What is the control over it? Do you need to fill form A1, form A2 of the RBI? Do you need to get a certificate from Chartered Accountant in form 15 CSEB? Do you need to go to the bank? Absolutely nothing. So does that amount to a violation of FEMA? Certainly yes. So not necessarily holding cryptocurrency is a violation, but these aspects could lead to a violation of cryptocurrencies. Another major professional opportunity which I see for consultants and chartered accountants specifically is that we have the understanding of laws across multiple countries. If we can understand Indian laws, we definitely, and with a lot of confidence, I say, we can understand laws of other countries as well. Because it's clear, right? They don't have to come up with clarifications and justifications and notices and circulars. Either it's black or it's white. या तो आप कर सकते हो काम या तो नहीं कर सकते. शायद कर भी सकते हो, आप टैक्स भर भी सकते हो, लेकिन लीगल नहीं है. ऐसा बहुत कम देशों में होता है. So you can advise clients that if you are not happy with the tax policy, or if you're not happy with the legal issues in India, shift to another country, set up your base in another country, and become compliant. So the emphasis here is to be compliant. Not if you are not compliant in India, you can always be compliant in some other jurisdiction where it is a legal activity. So be compliant is what we should advise clients. And if it means shifting out of the country, it means shifting out of the country. What's the harm in that? So chartered accountants can advise in setting up overseas businesses. Chartered accountants can advise in transaction structuring. Chartered accountants can advise many more things. Not taking a political dig, but one minister said कि chartered account करते क्या है? सिर्फ calculate तो करते हैं. No sir, हम काफी और काम भी कर सकते हैं. We can advise people how to be compliant in other jurisdictions if not India. We can advise people to do many more things which will not even come in your eye. And a person who's not even a graduate is questioning the integrity and knowledge of a chartered accountant. So anyways, I'll stop the topic about this member of parliament who took a dig on chartered accountants. But I think this was a way to answer what a chartered accountant can do. Apart from that, as I said, this is the best form of hacking. So if you want to, so this is my own server. This is my own company, which was hacked on a Monday morning. Sunday, मैंने ऐसे एक CP study circle पे ऐसे speech दी थी कि take backups, you get hacked, ये होता है, वो होता है. Monday morning I come and I see my server is hacked. So my colleague is asking me, sir, अपना computer hack हो गया है. मैंने already बात कर ली उसके साथ, hacker के साथ, मैसेज email पे. He's given his email ID. I have already spoken to the hacker and he said that you transfer 2 Bitcoins to the hacker, he will release the data. So I said, what? 2 Bitcoins? So then there were 2 things. Okay, one, I didn't have the Bitcoin. I couldn't afford to give 2 Bitcoins. And 2, I had a backup on Saturday. मैंने बोला Saturday का backup लो, restore कर लो और computer को format मार दो. So this is how hacking happens, and this is a real thing that had happened with me. And this hacker, I have respect for this hacker. Why? Why should a person who's hacked have respect for a hacker? This hacker is really nice. He was really nice. He said, first, आपको अगर मुझ पे भरोसा नहीं है तो I'll give you 5 sample files. आप चेक कीजिए. Okay? पहले इस्तेमाल करो फिर विश्वास करो. You first see whether I'm the real hacker or not. If I'm the real hacker, then you pay me 2 Bitcoins. If you don't know how to give Bitcoins, he had given a tutorial link. यहाँ पे link दिए नीचे. You can see the tutorial, how to buy Bitcoin in your country. Third, he also says that buying Bitcoin may not be legal in your country. So please check the laws before buying Bitcoin. And last but not the least, he says that please do not go to any third-party agency, because if you go to them, our price will increase. So मतलब आप direct deal करो, बीच में कोई दलाल मत रखो. So I have respect for the hacker, but anyways, I neutralized the thread by just by restoring the data which I had taken on Saturday on a Monday morning. So mera kaam ho gaya. 3 hours of disruption. But my suggestion to every one of you is please take regular backups, because one such very senior, respected and well-known chartered accountant, he told me that he had to pay 10 lakh rupees as a ransom. Yeah. And he said, I will claim it as a deduction. I will claim it as a deduction in my accounts. Maine bola, sir, why and how? He said that, see, I had data related to my clients. Most of my clients are builders. They have other accounts as well, parallel accounts, which I was maintaining. If I don't pay 10 lakh rupees, transactions worth many crores are at stake. So I have to pay 10 lakh rupees for releasing my data. So I told sir, 10,000 ki hard disk le li hoti or backup le liya hota. So anyways, this is a transformation which has begun. You may love it, you may hate it, but you just cannot ignore it. And I'm glad you guys thought of upskilling yourselves on in the evening on a working day. And any questions, I'll be happy to take questions. And this is just a copyleft disclaimer. You know, generally things are copyrighted. मतलब ये चीज मेरी है, आप इसको नहीं ले सकते. This is a copyleft. जिसको ये पूरा presentation चाहिए ले सकता है. मेरा नाम change कर दो, अपना नाम डाल दीजिए. I have no objection with that. You don't need to take the written permission from the author before reproducing this content. Take whatever screenshots, take the entire video. Okay, take the entire video, replace my voice with your voice, and post it on YouTube. I'm more than happy. Take each and every screenshot. Okay, just put your name at the end of it. If you see, I've not put my name anywhere. Okay, except for the first and last slide. Put your name and use it as if it's your own. I'm more than happy. So this is a copyleft disclaimer. So with this, I will just give there's one request to all the viewers. Okay, if you like my presentation today, please search for Vivek Shah and Company on Google, and please give a 5-star rating. It only helps in increasing visibility as chartered accountants, nothing more than that. So if you liked it, please give a 5-star rating. Please just take that 1 minute effort or a 30-second effort, and please give a 5-star rating. It really helps chartered accountants to increase visibility. People in virtual session, people in physical session, if you like my session, please give a 5-star rating. I'll be really happy to see that. Sorry? So the question is that whether I'm launching my own cryptocurrency or not. Probably I leave it unanswered. Well, let me not just create any suspense. So I'll say I'm not. Otherwise, if any tax authority is watching it, they'll come behind me. So thank you very much. If any questions, I'll be happy to take for another 5 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions from the audience? Staking is like locking in.
Is that like a scam or is that?
Depends on, as I said, it totally depends on who are you staking it with, and who's the creator of that NFT. It's not necessarily a scam. On certain decentralized finance exchanges, jisko DeFi exchange kehte hai, if you stake your cryptocurrency, you get up to 19%. Now that's much more than the FDs that you get in India. That's much more than the returns on equity. Historical returns of last 15 years in equity will not be 15%. Historical returns in gold will not be 15%. So certain DeFi exchanges claim they'll give 19%, and they're fairly reputed. So that happens. Oh yeah. So
there's a question in the chat box as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just open the chat box. All right. So we've got a few questions over here.
Q&A. So you can take this last two in this, and then you can take from Q&A if you want.
Okay. So will blockchain technology help Russia in reducing the damage caused? Yes, probably it will. It's not probably, certainly it will. Cryptocurrencies are an alternate to fiat currencies. Fiat currencies mean USD, INR, GBP, Euro, and all other currencies. So cryptocurrencies will definitely be a parallel to the fiat currencies. So it will help. Is it safe to invest in India? I think it has been answered. If from 1st April, yes, so the tax is applicable from 1st April. People who have claimed, so this is just some voluntary advice that I will give. This is not financial or tax or professional advice. If people who have sold cryptocurrencies in the past and have showed it as long-term capital gains or short-term capital gains, my suggestion is revise your returns and show it as PGBP and pay the difference of tax. Because if it's taxed as PGBP, you probably will fall in the higher tax slab, and you will end up, you will not end up getting imposed with any other penalty in future. So please revise the returns if you've shown it as LTCG or STCG. How to monetize our wallet amount into bank? Just send it, just link your, just transfer all your cryptos in a wallet which is linked with an Indian exchange, and then encash it in your Indian exchange. So for example, if somebody, hypothetically, if someone has paid someone in cryptocurrency, आपको अगर एक Bitcoin दिया, which is $40,000, and now you want to bring it to India, what will you do? So sell it on an exchange in India, transfer that one Bitcoin from your wallet to an Indian exchange's wallet, and then ask for, and then sell it over there. So you will be able to do it. What is the point of taxation? Very good point. Point of taxation. See, it cannot, for cryptocurrencies, point of taxation cannot be viewed in isolation. We need to refer to the entire Income Tax Act and whatever are the rules for transfer as defined under Section 2 and under Section 48 to 53. Whatever is mentioned for transfer shall also be applicable for transfer over here. In my personal capacity is what I'm saying. Applicability of advance tax, yes, it is applicable. In India, any safe cryptocurrency, I generally do not, I refrain myself from naming any cryptocurrency or endorsing any cryptocurrency.
You can just check up some questions in Q&A tab.
Sure, thank you.
If anything which is unanswered.
Yes. Is it possible to settle import payments or export receipts through crypto without any exchange loss of bank? As of now, there is no mechanism because under FEMA, receiving payments in crypto is not a recognized mode of receiving money. So as of now, there is no such mechanism. Is there a difference between digital asset and legal tender? Yes, legal tender means INR in India. Digital asset would mean any other cryptocurrency. There are 9,500 as of last week. So anything which is not legal tender will now be classified as a virtual digital asset or VDA. What determines the price movement of cryptocurrencies? It's pure demand and supply and the hype that is created around it. There's a lot of paid PR that happens. There are influencers who will take money and tell all their millions of followers to buy a particular cryptocurrency. So, should cryptocurrencies be treated as asset rather than currency? So let's understand what is a currency. A currency is something which is stable. A currency is something which has an intrinsic value. A currency is something which is regulated. Okay. So cryptocurrencies are neither stable, nor do they have intrinsic value, nor are they regulated. So I think cryptocurrencies as a word would be incorrect. It would be an incorrect term. It at best can be classified as cryptos. Apart from that, I think there are a couple of more questions. Whether such NFT creation business can be considered as startup. See, now when you talk about startup in India and registered under the DPIIT, I don't think it will ever be considered as a startup. But when we talk about a startup in some other jurisdiction where minting of NFTs is a legal activity, probably it could be considered as a startup. Under which head will it be taxed? Under for earlier years, it will be taxed. It should be taxed under PGBP, but for the current year, I think time will only tell how will it be taxed under which head. To the best of my knowledge, and from what sources have told me, is that from the current year, as in even for the ITRs for the current financial year when they launch next year, there could be a separate tab for reporting transactions in VDAs. Not just cryptocurrency. आपने NFT लिया, NFT बेचा तो भी, आपने cryptocurrency लिया और बेचा तो भी. What is the growth in India for crypto exchanges? Crypto exchanges have really flourished. Don't worry about that. It's their business, to be honest. All of them are valued. Most of them are valued at $1 billion plus. They've got a lot of money in the country. They have been financed. They have been valued at very high values. So growth in India for crypto exchanges, there is a lot of growth, but whether it's sustainable growth or not, I don't know. Because right now they're paying crores and crores for paid PR, crores on a monthly basis. Again, I'm aware about certain facts, hence I'm saying that they're being paid crores and crores. If the NFT is created in India, but mined in USA, in which country sales proceeds of NFT are taxed? Anonymous attendee, I really like it because the attendee wants to maintain privacy of the matter. So salute to you. But had you even asked with your name, it's fine. wouldn't have made much of a difference. There are no tax department people over here. But nevertheless, I respect you wanting to maintain your own privacy. If the NFT is created in India, creating and mining are the same. There is no difference between creating and mining. So if the server where it is mined is outside India, it could probably be classified as if it is created outside India. So if it is created outside India and if it is sold outside India, then probably it could be treated as a transaction taking place outside India. So to the anonymous attendee, if you have any specific things, you can ask a follow-up question. How can we learn more about cryptocurrency and NFT? Through books or through YouTube channels? I don't think there are many books that you can refer to the best of my knowledge, but there are a lot of free courses that you can do on Khan Academy, Coursera, and other such online learning platforms. It's all free. Believe me, till date, I have not paid a single rupee for a single course in blockchain technology or cryptocurrency till date. It's all self-acquired knowledge. And I think you too could do that. When it comes to YouTube channels, okay, so if they're purely information dissemination, it's fine, but don't get influenced by the cryptocurrencies they ask you to buy. So if you can maintain that difference, then there are some good YouTube channels also which you could look at. Applicability of TDS. TDS is applicable on every purchase. So every time you buy a particular cryptocurrency, you're supposed to deduct 1% and pay only 99. So on 100 rupee purchase, you deduct 1 rupee, pay 99 rupees, and then file your TDS return in the time to come. And that's how it will happen. However, there is no clarity whether it will be an individual buyer's responsibility or whether cryptocurrency exchanges will have to bear this responsibility. As of now, these exchanges are trying to lobby to put the responsibility on the buyers because they are saying, we don't want to come on the wrong side of the law. Exchanges are clear about that. But if it comes on individual buyers, then I think we will have many more TDS returns to be filed. So, yeah, question from the audience? Yeah.
So BDA has been defined very hard.
Yeah.
So one question that I had, there are a lot of gaming companies where you have in-game currencies that are being sold or in-game items also, which they initially sell for money and then which can also be exchanged between the users.
Correct.
Will this be covered in BDA?
Yeah. So if you look at the clarifications given of VDAs, any digital asset can be classified as VDA. Any VDA can be classified whether it will fall under the 30% tax slab or it will not fall under the 30% slab. So if it is notified, for example, a question was raised in the Rajya Sabha, I think yesterday or today, about whether NFTs will be taxed at 30%, and set off for purchasing the NFT would not be given. Means you buy an NFT for $1,000, you sell it for $1,100, but on $1,100 you pay 30% because cost of acquisition is not being allowed under certain cases. So in such cases, the Honorable Finance Minister said that we can decide by way of a notification or by way of a further disclosure whether what falls under the classification of VDAs, and in VDAs also they have reserved the right to charge it at a different rate. Yes. So for example, if cryptocurrency transactions are taxed at 30%, there possibly could be a set off of losses in NFTs. There could possibly be a set off of profits of NFTs versus losses of NFTs. I'm not the one who can actually give any further comments on that because there is no clarity from the government side. Any other questions? Okay, I think I've answered most of the questions, and with this, I think, shall we end?
Sure, I'll just give the vote of thanks. Good evening, everyone. I know it's 8:30 in the evening, late evening. Good evening, everyone. Okay, I think very humble to give this formal vote of thanks. I think all the audience virtually as well as physically sitting here had an amazing learning session across. I feel very happy to give a vote of thanks to CA Vivek Shah, who's a very dear friend of mine. I think he is an exception to the rule where we all say that chartered accountants are only technical speakers and are not good presenters. We've had taken a lot of sessions on presentation skills as well, apart from he being a very technical knowledge speaker as well. So the roots of all goodness lies in the soil of appreciation. So I think a very thank you so much for having accepted to being a speaker for this amazing topic in this era where we actually need this topic, which is, the whole talk of the town. Thank you so much, everyone attending physically as well as virtually, having come here and being there. Please be a part of a lot of more programs coming up at ICIWRC as well. A lot of new age programs that we are coming up. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.